Hot Button.
So I need to know. I've read that like there are people that like wash their jeans with like rocks to like.
With rocks?
I didn't make that up, right? You're nodding your head. I'm not a.
Yes. Well, you beat them up.
Yes.
That beats them up.
Yeah.
That's all. You can also wash them with acid.
Acid wash
I
jeans.
gaslight my jeans to distress them.
Yeah.
I remember getting into.
I overwork them and underpay them.
I got into a conversation once with a friend of ours, Ada, about how when she buys Chuck Taylor, she just throws them at like crap in the woods and in the dirt for a while to make them look worn in.
No, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn your worn in.
It's got to be like genuine, real worn.
Like my shiny like Hasbro shoes, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
It was only after taking them to 12 raves that they got the footprints they have on them.
I
and
still
they're
have
very memorable.
I still have a whole outfit that I wore to a paint rave once that's still like covered in a bunch of.
I have a T-shirt from a Guar concert.
Do you really? Does it
Yeah.
have a bunch of fake blood all
Yeah,
over
it's
it?
just pink.
Yeah.
Because it dries pink. It was a white shirt.
That's great. All right, what is up, listeners? Welcome to our Hot Button 1 year anniversary. I'm Randall Beatrice, here as always with Austin Blakesley.
That surprisingly didn't peak.
And Chris Anantuano.
It's me.
And for the first time ever outside of a Mario Brothers movie viewing, our very talented sound guy, Jason Domenico.
Hello,
Domenico.
Domenico.
How long have you known him now?
A while, but I don't say a lot of last names.
What's
like
my
that
last
often.
I'm
name?
used to it.
What's
That
my...
really made me sound like I don't know you at all. That was terrible.
Blag.
You fucked up the last name that's the easiest to pronounce out of the three of us.
No,
you realize that,
well,
right?
between the three of us.
Between
yeah.
Tuano kind of just really easy for me. It always was.
And so is Blagoberg, or whatever his last name is.
That's
But
it. You
the
nailed
only
it.
reason why I screwed it up was because I wanted to read it as Dominic O, and I was like, that doesn't sound right
Why,
at
you
all.
think Dom's better than me? Yeah, check him out. He's GTA RP, Twitch, Mr. Bob Knob.
Mr. Bob Dob.
I thought it was Mr. Hobnob, Bob.
Well, that's his other channel.
This is what we call about his back.
This is already such a mess. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you, obviously, because without you, none of us would even be here.
This is a perfect episode for him because who's listened to more Hot Button than
Yes.
the person who edits it?
Yeah.
Frustratingly so, yes.
Tired of hearing our voices?
No, I do listen to it like two or three times.
You're here voluntarily.
afterwards.
No, me too. I listen to them a lot.
It's kind of like watching a movie for the plot and then watching it for the sound effects. You know, it's like I don't actually get to hear the story until the fourth listen.
That's a good way of putting it. But we thought a nice way to spend this very special episode of our podcast show would be to take a look back at our old topics that led us here today. Kind of just run through our massive 52 episode library.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what it was like covering those topics. Maybe revisit the ones that could use a bit of updating, such as when more recent news drops, or even if speculations on things can change as information suddenly gets found or becomes more available. Also, if there's any mistakes potentially that need to be addressed. But
Probably tons.
This
but
should be
we
fun.
don't have the time, or we also don't care.
Yeah, Randy went back and looked at all the stuff he fucked up. I did not. So if I
I
messed
also
up,
refuse to take
Yeah.
responsibility
Most of my
for my
screw-ups
mistakes.
are due to
if I
dyslexia.
screwed anything up, if I screwed anything up, please write it an email and then send it to whogivesa at gofuckyourself.com.
But
Or,
yeah,
or
and,
just hit me up on Twitter. I am interested to know what I screw up, but
this will be a good
I wanna hear
reason
about it.
to honor all of our hard work
Yeah.
as I drink.
The table is rather full of booze today.
and none of it's mine.
You got too many electronics in front of you. It's fine.
Yeah, I just have an interface.
No,
Peek
if you
behind the curtain, a laptop,
No, we're
Yeah.
inside the curtain.
my phone.
If you haven't heard everything that we'll be getting into today, some of it might be a tad confusing. I think we're going to make an attempt to keep maybe a few of our stories as spoiler-free as we can. Otherwise, though, I do highly recommend going back and taking a look at those previous releases for maximum enjoyment of this whole celebration.
Well, you know what?
It's
Spoilers
just
are kind
insiders
of bullshit.
only.
So if you hear something that
That's
sounds
fair.
interesting,
Go
back and listen.
yeah, all right.
A lot of the stuff is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
So.
But before we get into all that, I believe Chris has something to say that I feel is important for us kind of going forward, is
Yeah.
something that some more passionate followers might enjoy as well.
Yeah, not just necessarily passionate followers. I think just people in general. I was listening to like an episode of The Dollop, who is notorious for always being like on the forefront of having their sources because they're like an infotainment podcast just like
Right,
we are.
yeah.
Like it's all comedy entertainment. Other big like obviously influences are like Last Podcast. They share their main sources
Yes.
like in the actual
They
episode
citate
descriptions and shit like that. So I just wanted to say that going forward, it's not up yet. It's going to take time, and there's no time frame on that. But we will have a whole page on our website dedicated to the sources we use for all of the information in our podcast. I think it legitimizes us in a real way.
It's definitely
obviously-
professional, yeah.
We obviously sound legit. Everything else we do has a good degree of professionalism to it, whether it's having somebody who was schooled and trained to edit our podcast,
Yeah.
whether it's having our very expensive repertoire of sound equipment in here with a full studio that we built with our own fucking hands down here with soundproofing and all that stuff. It's passion and research and time we spend actually doing it. We're going to show people on the back end. They're like, it's real. And if you want to check it out and do your own reading, you can check further.
Well said.
In the future, we'll probably, like I did with the Eve episode, if it's a major source that compiles most of the information for the episode, we'll call it out in the episode.
Yeah.
But obviously, we read a lot of little random articles
We do.
and bubbles
I
from
think every time-
2002 and
Yeah.
1998.
Yeah,
Reading-
that's hard,
I'm
'cause-
reading articles from a Nintendo magazine from 1997, and we can't source all
I'm on
that
like Wayback Machine. Yeah.
in the episode. I can't shout it all out, but we will
we do
write
quote
down
like magazines or websites whenever
yeah,
we use them.
but we will write all that down in the best source format
Yeah.
possible that makes it easiest to do.
We have that stuff saved.
Yeah, if possible, have links and have it all on the website
Yeah.
so you can go to whatever.
I'm gonna write
Yeah.
Deep Throat for
Yeah.
every one of my sources.
We're gonna go back and try to find sources for our old episodes. We have a bunch of them written down. We can't guarantee that 100% of them will be added.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
So-
And
we're gonna
some,
try.
and we can notate otherwise because I think there are several times that we will reference YouTube videos that get taken down, Twitter accounts that get deleted.
Yes, there's a lot of
Yeah.
internet
also,
archive
just
shit with this
general
podcast.
shit that's been buried and lost
Yeah.
to the age because we talk about a lot of old internet
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So we just want to say thank you for sticking with us and trusting us because today, more than ever, fucking journalism is borderline propaganda half the time. And it's hard to find.
What? Didn't you see that Facebook thing? Of the,
Yeah. It's hard to
hearing.
find and trust, and we want to thank you for trusting that we're right. And if we fuck up, calling us out, and if not, look at our sources. We're legit. We're not fucking around.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Absolutely. And with that being said, I gotta ask you guys, how y'all feeling about everything we've done? All like with Hot Button so
it's
far.
actually shit. I'm done. Bye.
this is your.
It's yeah.
Thank you for joining us in our last
I was
episode.
thinking about breaking off and forming a rival podcast with people with similar names but not quite the same.
What are you gonna call
Yes,
it?
it's Sandy. and then just me and Austin. It's just without you, actually.
Am I gonna look like the bucket with the face paint on it from
We're
C Lab
finally-
on top of the mop?
We're finally going through with Lukewarm Button. Everybody follow us at Lukewarm Button Cast on Twitter.
Well, now that domain's gone, so
Yeah, whatever.
it
Not
really
if I
doesn't.
grab it first.
Does it feel like it's been a whole year so far?
It's been more than a year, though.
It feels like it's been forever. because it, yeah.
Oh well, we
because
started doing research.
We started
of
doing
why,
research in like what, June,
think it was
July
June, yeah.
of 2018. So
Yeah.
That was very cool. It was
They-
one of the coolest things I've ever got to be a part of.
yeah, the 38
Same
Studios
here.
episode came out in November of 2018. We recorded that in what,
Remember
August.
Remember how ahead we used to be?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, we recorded like 5 episodes
think
before
it
we
was like
ever
6,
even
yeah,
5
and
episodes
then-
before we ever even launched one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, this allows us to be more current or up to date or whatever. Because it is very
Yeah.
funny in old cold opens. We're like talking about like, yo, this game's coming out. It's the game's been out for 2 months and no one cares about it anymore
Yeah.
by the time the episode comes out.
Yeah, I'm like, I tried the Anthem beta, and by the time the
We're
episode
talking about
airs,
Red, I'm like, yeah,
Anthem
Red
is a
Dead
failure.
Red Dead is so good. It was like December. When,
Oh yeah.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
I've obviously a creative and have been my whole life. And if you are too, you know that you hate everything you do. And I think I'm genuinely proud of this.
Yeah, no,
I
me
haven't
too.
tried to
This is
destroy it or self-sabotage it yet, which must mean it's worth something.
Don't worry, I'll be cutting that out.
Yeah.
Just has our relationship with video games changed since
It's
we've
just
done
Jason.
this?
I'm an idiot.
I don't think our relationship with video games have, but I've discovered something funny
We do
that
have
I
less
don't know
time.
whether we had this conversation on the podcast or in our Discord or like in just at a party or whatever. But us three were talking about something, and I was like, yeah, I was telling my brother about how you guys are like, you can just shout off people. You can be like, blank worked for blank and did this and this. And I'm
the
like,
only thing I can
I was like,
remember.
I don't know how you guys know that stuff. And you're like, oh, we don't actually play video games. We just talk about them.
That was in the Discord for sure.
I listen to game
wait.
podcasts. I read game news in the morning, then I listen to game podcasts while I'm like out at work, and then when I get home, I watch some videos about games.
Because I said something, I was like, man, I played this game for like 20 hours this week, and I don't know how I have time to play this and this. And they're like, we don't actually play games. I was like, wait, I'm playing the most. This is bullshit.
No, I actually hate video games. Jason, what's it like having to listen to us all the time compared to even when we're not around?
I don't see you guys right now. I just see waveforms.
Yeah, even if we're right in front of you.
And I just know exactly what's gonna be, next.
It's like it's like the Matrix, but it's a Pro Tools bar, like sideways.
I bet he knows certain nuances about the way that we communicate more than what we know about ourselves.
Like Austin's tagline that none of us knew about, but somebody pitched to me for a T-shirt, which was "We're gonna get to
no,
that."
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah, which I have a bunch of those too. Yeah. It is really weird though. Even outside of this, if somebody tells you like, "Yo, you say this a lot," and you're like, "No, I don't," and then like you realize like, and then you start catching yourself doing it, and you're like, "I guess I do." So our pilot episode was 38 Studios. Our boy Kurt Schilling.
Yep.
That was cool.
That was. I think that was a cool one to start with.
We've also, before we jump in, we're sticking with the nostalgia train. We also have a new studio. Like, this is cool.
Yes, we do.
We recorded a lot of the beginning at a venue that no longer exists, and we recorded it on their stage. We used to carry a table up onto the stage,
Just
and
absolutely great acoustics. This place really built
does feel like forever ago.
Podcast recording.
Yeah, and we had literally the table next to a full, house drum kit, so we get all sorts of reverberation off the snare kit.
Yeah, I really
we forgot to turn it off like half the time.
To get on your voice.
And then we eventually
recorded at your house for a few episodes.
We did a couple there, which wasn't bad, and that was just a mess because our living room's so tight.
Dude.
Yeah,
the fan.
Starting with the movie. That was also in the middle of summer, like as well. Yeah,
and then so hot. Yeah,
I should have notated when we started doing it here. Were those the only 3 places we ever recorded?
I think Battlefront was the first episode.
It was E3 was the first one I think we did at your house because that was when we did it like 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
and then Jason mixed it overnight, and we got it out the next day.
No, I cut it overnight,
You
and
did?
then
Yeah.
Jason mixed it in the morning, and then I uploaded it.
That was a lot of Austin work.
That one took a lot of work.
I was
long
impressed
ass
with some of your cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Battlefront must have been the first one. We also changed gear a lot too.
Yes, but this studio is very nice. Like I said, it's professional. It's the It's the Austin Blakesley Memorial Ligma Lounge.
We get like a title up here.
Yeah, like a sign.
An on-air button. Anyway, go on.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to jump right into it, but
No, I just forgot. I was thought about it on the way over here. I was like, man, I remember recording there.
I guess starting with our first episode.
Didn't something happen with Kurt Schilling recently? He was just in the news about like something with a Trump supporting thing.
So Chris pointed out, I think, in the actual episode that since 2016 he became a writer for Breitbart. He's very conservative, which I will get to actually in this. If there's any controversies regarding his personal life beyond his sort of endeavor into games, I guess I don't really know about it. Kind of seems like an asswipe. But this was the episode 2 that we, I was feeling so good about it once it was done, and then it was like days before the episode was supposed to go up was when news broke regarding this fucking dead-ass IP and this story. Like, it was like there couldn't have been a safer topic to jump into, and then I don't remember, it was you that sent me the link the next day. It was like maybe on like IGN or something that's just like, guess what happened? You're like, are you fucking kidding me? Because otherwise we can go back and do things like this, but this was not only the first episode, but it was like, by the time it drops, it's going to be outdated. So that's why I had to record that little special outro thing. Yeah, which was fun to frantically write that script. So where we left the story, company THQ Nordic had acquired the rights to the Kingdoms of Amalur franchise and the assets of the unfinished Project Copernicus MMO from 38. That was in that intro thing. Outro. Whatever. And the purchase was for 121 million euro, which I don't...
That's like $3.
Definitely not worth it. Definitely not worth it for sure.
But yeah, this was on September 6th of 2018, which when
That was a couple months before it aired.
Oh, it was. Okay, so I guess this wasn't before it dropped. This was right after it was finished being recorded.
Yes.
Because I think we did the outro when we were recording another episode.
Yeah.
So, but we got it on there. So yeah, we went back and added that additional kind of information sort of addressing it. However, since then, the new owners did come out and state the publishing rights to Reckoning still technically belong to Electronic Arts. Like, I don't think this news was out before the...
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, so when asked by Robert Purchase of Eurogamer on what the future plans were for things like potential remasters or re-releases, THQ Nordic then replied in an email saying... EA still has the publishing rights to Reckoning. About any other details about the relationship between EA and 38 Studios, we cannot comment. They also went on to add, at this stage, we only acquired the intellectual property. Given our track record, we know that the burning questions, remaster, remake, port to current gen systems, etc., are... But we decided do not answer those specifically, as we tend to put our heads together first and then do our homework and only start to talk about anything once we feel confident and very familiar with the franchise. So yeah, as of right now...
What sort of workaround garbage talk was that?
I know, it was very... That's why I was like, how the... as of right now, nothing has yet to be announced regarding anything since the acquisition, or at least I kind of thought, possibly due to EA not giving full permissions. It's very possible that a deal is continuing to be worked out. I'm not sure, but what we do know is that Kurt Schilling is still an anti-trans piece of shit. So, which makes him perfect for Breitbart, I suppose. But when we came in today, I think that
yes,
you find...
I found additional information, which is that we mentioned that the SEC was looking into 38 Studios.
Yeah.
Part of that was a lawsuit, and it was a lawsuit with Wells Fargo as well as the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, I remember that from our
SEC
story.
filed lawsuit against Wells Fargo and the state of Rhode Island, and the SEC claimed that Wells Fargo knew or should have known but failed to inform investors that 38 Studios was destined to fail according to 38 Studios' own internal financial projections.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like Wells Fargo wasn't already fast and loose with their morals and fucking money.
Yeah.
You know?
So, in January of 2019, the state of Rhode Island settled out of court with the SEC for a $50,000 fine, and Wells Fargo paid an $800,000 fine, which is like 3 seconds of revenue for them. And this was finally paid. It was settled in January, but was not actually paid to the SEC until March due to the government shutdown at the beginning of 2019.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the end of that whole lawsuit story. And also, Kurt Schilling apparently is considering running for Congress.
That's what
Great.
I heard.
Okay.
That was the thing.
Yeah,
Jason
we need
heard.
more of that in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it.
I think that's about it for that one, yeah. I guess the only reason why I kind of wrote it as sort of a dead end is just because technically we haven't seen that game appear in any other way since then.
Yeah.
Usually when news like that comes out of a company buying an intellectual property, like you'd think that, oh, all right, this is just going to drop for PS4 and Switch and Xbox, and then like everyone can like revisit it again, but that never happened, so...
I don't know if the game was popular enough to be physical.
It was a cult hit for sure.
Maybe they'll drop a digital version in like,
Maybe,
whatever
yeah,
EA's store is.
I guess it's still technically on Steam, so it's not like it hasn't hit there yet. It's because sometimes old cult games will randomly drop on there, but...
It's on Steam, it is?
Yeah.
It is,
That was
yeah.
before Origin.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, then our second episode was Hot Coffee, which was also, I believe, our first artwork that you made, which is still incredible to this day.
I think Austin is obviously the master, but I'm trying to say I set the bar for him, okay?
For sure.
For
Without
sure I set
question.
the bar.
No, it still makes me laugh.
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually like transferring a bunch of like art shit over to my new computer, and I came across that, and I was like, oh, I remember when I did this one time.
The only major update I wanted to give for this episode was that honorary GTA character and former state senator of California's District 8, Leland Yee,
Leland P. You know, right, guys?
whom we openly discussed in the episode as they were one of the primary public aggressors in the Spearhead campaign against Rockstar and their unlockable sex minigames, was officially incarcerated.
Woo!
Weapons trafficking,
And that was
right?
weapons trafficking, right?
I believe it was you, Austin, who revealed that the now defamed politician pled guilty in 2015 on charges of racketeering, bribery, corruption, money laundering, and of course gun trafficking, or more specifically by, quote, buying automatic firearms and shoulder-launched missiles from the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF for short, an Islamic extremist group located in the southern Philippines.
Cool,
Okay,
cool.
Oh,
but the
man.
coolest part, maybe that's why he wanted to go against GTA. Maybe it was like, like life rights infringement. Like he was worried that they,
You have to pay me if you're going to use my likeness.
Who was
Yeah.
was it Lindsay Lohan that tried to sue Grand Theft Auto 5
Yes.
for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, he apparently attempted to resell the weapons to an undercover FBI agent and was caught then. But yeah, as of May 15th, 2019, he is currently residing at the FCI Big Spring Federal Prison in Howard County, Texas.
Big Spring. That sounds luxurious.
Probably for him, it probably
probably some
is.
fucking white collar.
Yeah.
Something out of prison for profit. But then again, it is in Texas.
Yeah.
They also, you never know down there. They might have him chained to a fucking rock.
Meanwhile, Grand Theft Auto is out celebrating its freedom by opening up a functioning playable casino in the last GTA 5 online update.
We do whatever we want.
Next up was the first part of our contest trilogy. You guys remember this?
I do.
Yeah. Not a whole
This would be
lot
one
to,
episode if we did it nowadays.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. We've gotten
'Cause these
so
ones are
much
like a half
better.
hour.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
gotten so much better at like doing our information. Like I was going through our list with like a coworker, and I was like, "Oh, this one, like I'm glad we did it here because we could have like if we did it early,
yeah.
it might have been shorter, or this or that." You know what I mean? Like,
These have the potential to be like microtransaction episodes.
Yeah.
But there isn't a whole lot to say about Advent Rising, the game, other than I don't believe we mentioned this in the episode before, but on January 15th, 2018, 51% of Majesco, the game's publisher and license holder, was bought by Liquid Media Group. So hey, maybe the rest of the series will come out after all, right?
Probably not.
I don't even think they make games.
I've
Also,
been
is the
waiting my
only thing.
whole life.
But I also do have our first correction as well. Turns out when I was listing off all of the prizes before, that it was only a year's supply worth of Sobe water with the fridge, not a lifetime supply that we joked about.
It's
oh,
the
well,
same.
then that's the whole.
Because if you get a lifetime supply of Sobe Life Water, you're going to
man.
get sick of it after a year anyway.
less than a year.
So I sincerely apologize to everyone on that. I still don't know how much that actually is, but I can't imagine it being crazy.
It's a lifetime. Austin's
Probably
right.
24
You
pack a
can
month.
make it into a lifetime. I mean,
No,
if you know how
yeah.
to conserve.
It's probably one of those like
probably their logic.
Costco-sized crates when they were still around.
Yeah, you
just
just
a
got
big
to
old-
Sobe, not Costco.
It's just
I
a big old bag. They
Yeah,
just
it's a bag. It's like those
You just
milk
get
things in school.
a pallet.
Yeah.
pallet with one bag.
Yeah.
The second part, I guess, our Dark Mail chapter was about curiosity, what's inside the cube.
Yep.
Yeah, where we had the, I think, our first clip from as well.
I remember playing this. I tapped exactly.
Wait, you played Curiosity as well? I thought it was just Austin.
So I
It was-
tapped probably 6 cubes and then I uninstalled it.
Now, just to
Fond memories.
Yeah.
just to be clear, that probably takes under a second, right? Like, probably well under
Did
2
you
seconds.
tap the screen
Yeah,
6 times?
It just reeked of pyramid scheme to me.
Well, yeah. But who could forget our old pal, Peter Molyneux? And
haven't.
what is he up to since we last talked about him?
Fable 4, right?
So it turns out he's still at 22 Cans, the studio he founded that made What's Inside the Cube. Their last game was the Trail Frontier Challenge in 2016 that briefly got brought up on the episode, except now it's on the Nintendo Switch. It got
The
poor
Tale
reviews. I don't recommend
Frontier
it.
Challenge.
I believe, Austin, you said another game was announced that is
Yeah.
still not out. As
They announced
the
a
time of
game
this.
called Legacy, which is apparently like a reimagining of his first game, which I can't remember. It was like
was it-
Enterprise or something.
Oh, was it? This is predating Populous? And,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not out yet. I think it's supposed to come out in 2020. Also,
Okay.
Goddess, still in early access. So, there's another
Yeah,
update for you.
So it's Fortnite.
Yeah, it's true. It is.
Yeah, someone told me that's like a running joke because I just started playing it recently,
Yeah.
and like the early access thing
It's
on
in
is
the
on the top
corner,
right.
yeah.
And I
Oh,
was
that's
playing with someone.
weird.
I was like, "Yo, is this really still in early access?" And they're like, "No, it's just like a running joke, man." I was
Yeah,
just
what-
like, "All right,
does it
but,
really
it
mean
says it."
anymore?
But no, it's really not a running joke though. Like technically, they never released the game, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the game, did they just probably abandon that whole fucking save the world mode?
It's still there if you want to pay for it, I guess. But
I did.
also, I guess Microsoft can't seem to get another Fable game made. So let's move on before I look stupid when Turn 10 announces they're making one tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. They need to already. Like that is a game that's prime for fucking playability and lots of sales.
Also-
Like,
Yeah, the first Fable it has a place in my heart that none
Oh
can
yeah, no,
fucking
people love
replace.
Fable. Yeah, I
Not
wasn't
so
talking
you don't have to
smack
do
on
a
it.
correction next time. Playground Games is rumored to do Fable.
Really?
Not
Oh,
Turn
it's
10.
switching
Turn 10
hands.
was the rumor, I guess.
No. Playground Games is the people that do Forza Horizon.
Fuck,
Turn 10 are the
does
people that
the-
Motorsport.
Yes. Okay.
It was the Horizon people.
You're totally right.
You fucking idiot.
Yeah, is Horizon when you can read how hot your tires are? Or is that the other one? Like,
That's the
the other
dubstep one.
Wait, what?
No, Horizon's the dubstep one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verizon?
Yeah.
Forza Verizon.
Up next is Just Cause 3. Turns out we still don't know who won that stupid island, if anyone. I feel we deduced the most likely scenario that nobody got it, especially since the trailer folks didn't get their prize, some of which...
And a corporation definitely owns that island.
Yeah. Whoever it was or wasn't crowned champion in that designing a wingsuit thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Either. Other than that, Just Cause 4 has since come out since we finished recording the contest series. None of us played it, and it received a 66 on Metacritic. I also hear it won the award for the most forgettable game that no one has talked about
That
this
makes
year
sense.
until now.
Yeah. Like,
Sorry,
that's on Game Pass.
I
wanna
know.
know how-
That's so mean, but like,
You want to know
come
how
on, industry.
forgettable it is? I think it came out before we recorded the episode. I just don't think we mentioned it.
No, because there's a part in the episode where we talk about how the contest redirected to the pre-order site for Just Cause 4.
But the game came out after our episode released.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
But before we recorded. Or no, sorry.
other way around.
Before we released after we recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came on Game Pass, and
Yeah.
it couldn't be more of a thing. I just scroll past as if it were a gray.
You can control
square
tornadoes. Yeah.
on the fucking
I don't know. I
screen.
usually click on those gray squares.
You tap on it 6 times and uninstall. I mean, Just Cause is cool. We just don't need 4 of them.
Yep.
I think we need exactly 4.
Maybe just one. They can just keep updating the graphics of the maps.
Austin, I believe your episode is next, the first one, the history of the original Xbox.
Yeah. There's no updates.
So they,
obviously.
Well, no, they
Except
made the
for
Xbox
shout
One.
out, shout out to the guy that created it, Seamus Blackley.
Great
because
name.
he tweeted like a month ago and was like, "Yeah, the Xbox is like the thing I'm most proud of. So like, hit me up if you were if you like loved it." And I like tweeted at him and was like, "Hey, we made a podcast." That was about it.
I thought he liked it.
He did.
Yeah.
This was also probably the first episode that inspired us to do things in multiple parts. Because if
Yeah.
we looking back, if we were doing multiple parts, then the Xbox one. Every time the multi-parter comes up, we'll get to it. Halo is a multi-parter.
Yes.
That was one of the first. And we often get it confused where you're just like, yeah, the 360 one was 2 parts, right? And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it's like,
What?
the
Yeah.
Xbox one was, right? And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Also just one. Yeah.
This
But
episode also
it's very long. It
was
would have been 2
the,
parts.
first one to get us a little bit of attention too, because like I think at one point we even through social media got followed by an Xbox fan
There's
group.
an Xbox. There's a Twitter account for the original Xbox.
Yeah.
and it's fan run.
They
and
do a
it's
lot of like on this day and stuff like that.
and they're just like basically just dedicated to news and fandom of the original Xbox. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Their Twitter handle is Xbox Soft Mod Kit.
Oh, well, if now they're into soft modding, that means like they're part of the groups of people that will like take Xboxes apart and then like install HDMI and stuff
Yeah,
into them,
so,
so
like,
you can
upgrade
play
them.
games on the original hardware. It's actually really impressive. People do a lot with GameCubes and Dreamcasts and stuff as well.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen
that's awesome.
that.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. And that episode is still one of my favorites. It's an insane.
I see how it is.
It's an
I'm
insane
kidding.
story.
It is a fucking
It's
wackadoo
really
story.
a fucking
and it
cool
involves
story.
so many tech industry heavy hitters where
Yeah.
it's like my mom could listen to that episode and know what the characters are in the like it's insane.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a good episode. And good. That was our first dev story, and that kind of also set the table for
Yeah.
some dev
Yeah.
stories. So good job, Austin.
You're welcome.
That's cool. Up next was Oblivion. This was
Yes.
not a
Takes
lot.
place in what is Cyrodiil?
Yeah, I literally wrote in my fucking script here. I was like, not a lot to address here other than my mispronunciations of various Elder
we
Scrolls
corrected
related
you.
things.
As someone who
Exposing me for the jock I secretly am.
as someone who was coping with depression and needed oblivion in their life,
I deeply offended.
Cyrodiil was there. for
Still
me.
the best Elder Scrolls.
Agreed.
Yes, a game
Alright,
where
good.
anytime you jump, you get better
I
at
also
jumping, and to the point where you can just jump like a fucking rabbit.
Is that was in Morrowind too?
Fuck Morrowind, dude.
Dude, we're gonna
Yo,
get run out of here
hot
with
takes.
pitchforks.
There's a place in Morrowind right when you get to the first city where there's just steps, and I just would just run up and down, tap spacebar, just run up and down the steps, and your acrobatics just it's like farming your acrobatics
Where has
up really
that gone
early.
in games? Like Skyrim's like, yo, you just gotta chill, bro.
There
It's
is
like,
none of that.
No, I want to fucking jump off a cliff and level up my goddamn feet.
But yeah, Morrowind also had throwing knife, long sword, short sword, medium sword, spear, and then Skyrim they were just kind of sharp stick, blunt stick.
No more guarding your shoulders.
So I figured we'd only spoil episodes if we have to. So if you don't know anything about this one, it's about.
The king dies immediately, right in the beginning
Oh,
of
I
the
didn't
game.
mean the game. I meant the topic.
I've seen you in my dreams.
How do we make it enticing? We just say it's about boobs
Oh, yeah, for sure.
or nipples. Sorry.
It's about nipples.
Yeah.
Yes. very
Other than that, I guess we can save any future of the franchise talk until we get to the Skyrim episode down the road. But up next was our Silicon Knights versus Epic Games, which this one's going to be interesting. This was our first dual hosting topic, which we should do
Yes.
more of. I don't know if we
That's
said
a
it.
lot of work.
Oh, yeah, it was. I don't know if me and Austin said it on the recording, but we were at a bachelor party at the
Yeah.
time, and we
Everybody's drinking, and me and Randy are sitting there with laptops, just being like, "Yo, did you hear that fucking Dennis
did not
Didac
know
did
this."
this?"
yeah, it was like. I was still drinking though.
Yeah, you were.
But I think we were because the bachelor party was on a Saturday, and we were recording the next day when we drove back from New York or whatever,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. So it was pretty fun. But as everyone knows, Epic Games faded into obscurity, and meanwhile, Dennis Dyack is still out there killing it. And just to make sure that everyone knows that I'm very much being sarcastic,
They just released Fortnite 2, okay?
Chapter 2. All right, it's not Overwatch 2. Oh my god.
So a friend and listener of the podcast pointed out to me that shortly after this episode went up, Precursor Games and Quantum Entanglement Entertainment apparently weren't the man's only failed business ventures after Silicon Knights crumbled against their lost court case with Epic. That's right. I don't know how I missed this before. I guess you could probably call it another correction. But in January of 2018, quote, QEE was quietly shut down and the production of Shadow of the Eternals, or better known as that spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness, was put on hold. That I think we did discuss. Dyack then announced his new fourth company, Apocalypse Studios. And with
Good
it,
name.
a new free-to-play RPG game for the PC titled Dead House Sonata, which sounds cool, but I'll say it, looks like an absolute piece of shit with total piss poor production values. I think it was trending for a couple days when the trailer dropped because people were so
I thought it looked
dumbfounded.
good.
It runs on the Amazon Lumberyard engine. It's full of microtransactions, and
Yeah,
it
remember
still
the
isn't out yet.
Lumberyard?
Can't
Weird.
wait for it to hit the PC and
All right.
every major platform never.
I also have an update.
Yeah.
There's a podcast on IGN I urge you to check out if you're interested called Unfiltered, where they get interviews with people, and the whole point is yo, it's unfiltered, dude. He says whatever he wants or
Oh,
whatever.
like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like Joe Rogan podcast. And Dennis Dyack was on it
Oh, man,
in
was
March
it
of
really?
2019 and was asked about any regrets he had. And he said a lot of stuff, obviously.
Okay.
But in addition to that, he
Was working
here's-
with
Here's the relevant
somebody
quote.
who was into.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't.
Okay.
Apparently, it wasn't entirely unfiltered.
Yeah, that's probably for the better.
Yeah.
For more
He
on that, go
said,
listen to the episode. Enjoy.
I'm a big believer in that life prepares you for things, but what I wasn't prepared for with the Epic litigation was all the damage it caused to the people around me. Silicon Knights was over 200 people. Massive job loss, huge job loss in Niagara. Niagara is a very small town. There wasn't a lot of tech companies there. It was devastating. The impact on the families and all the people that were affected was pretty devastating for me personally.
No fucking shit.
That I wish it wouldn't have happened, but it happened. For me, I've been through a lot, but that was a surprise I wish I could have done better.
Jeez.
Hindsight's 2020, man.
Yeah. Maybe don't be a fucking idiot.
Well, that's the thing. That's sweet of him to finally say that this many years later. But if you're representing a company,
Yeah.
that's a dedicated team of people who have jobs. Don't
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
If you're worried about your employees' well-being, don't embezzle. Life lesson for everybody out there.
So yeah, well, everybody keep an eye out for Dead House Sonata.
Now, are there Dead House Sonata costumes at Spirit Halloween, or no?
Yeah, right next to Fortnite and Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's. No, all right, so this next one is Call of Duty's No Russian mission. Let's talk a little bit about murder.
Did anything happen with Russia since then?
Now,
Not that I can
there
think of.
isn't too much to add to the specific topic in question here, but I did deliberately leave most of this spot blank on the outline so I could rant a little bit about Modern Warfare 2019.
Modern Warfare, that's the game that came out
Controversy.
early, right? Right after Call of Duty 3, right? That was Modern
No, it's
Warfare?
the remaster
They
that came
dropped
out
the
in
4
2017.
off of.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No. Yeah, there are two things on the storefronts called Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The remaster is the old one.
How can you just name your game
I
the
know.
same thing
I
and get
know.
away with it?
There are two Need for Speed Most Wanteds on the same console. Like, it's a nightmare. But I do have a bit to say about this. I know Austin does as well. So I guess it is about the specific topic. I guess it's not about Modern Warfare 2, I guess I should say. But more people should care about this, as I feel it kind of makes No Russian look like Chuck E. Cheese in comparison. And no, shockingly, I'm not talking about the baby killing level, which also shockingly might be one of the better and more tasteful missions the way it's portrayed in the game. It's still kind of gross. But this is a game that also features a first-person waterboarding minigame and a torture sequence involving a bad guy's family. So that somehow ended up
Bad guy.
in here as well, contrasted
Yeah.
against all the stupid action blockbuster writing. It'd be like if the Fast and the Furious suddenly had like a serious, like it just had an abortion sequence in it, like just like a scene in it in between the car chases or something. But the idea,
Sean's not going to be happy about
I'm
that.
calling Hollywood right now.
That's it. That's it, Xander.
The
We got to go to my. Is that one of the characters' names? We got to go to my friend's house.
the identity
and then they
crisis.
just go there and
This
they
series.
just torture a kid for hours.
It's
my God, that just reminds me of
Dom
the-
and Taj and Paul Walker and Gal Gadot. and The
Realistically,
Rock.
I think Xander is the name of Vin Diesel's character in
it is.
Triple
It
X.
is. It absolutely is.
Xander Cruz, isn't it? No, that's from Frisky Dingo. Ain't it? What the hell's his
Xander
character?
Cage.
Xander Cage.
Xander Cage.
Sorry.
The
That reminded
sequel's
me of,
called
like,
Triple X Return of Xander Cage.
It is. No one saw it. Whatever. But yeah, that.
The Triple X2 was just 6 X's.
God damn it. But yeah, this series, man, holy shit. Do we want to talk about sort of
yeah.
pre-release?
So pre-release, this was posted in our Discord.
Yeah.
This interview.
I'm going to read the Kotaku press
Okay.
one first, and then you can elaborate more. But basically, a quote from when this game was first announced, because we discussed this a little bit on the E3 episode, that they did a behind-the-closed-doors sort of thing for critics and people of the press, where pitching the game is just having a much darker tone. Like, they wanted to be taken seriously after having a year off from doing a campaign, because Black Ops 4 did not have one. But I have this quote here which just says, "It'll be heavy on troubling, realistic, emotional moments, very much inspired by the controversial No Russian campaign in Modern Warfare 2 that allowed the player to gun down civilians." Which also, campaign is not the right word there. They should have said mission. But yeah,
Then they had
this
an
was
interview
also
with
shared,
GameSpot where they said,
They kind of wanted to be like, whoa.
this is campaign gameplay director Jacob Minkoff and studio narrative director Taylor Kurosaki. I think I said that right. People ask us that internally over and over again in reference to what Randy basically just read. They're like, where's your blankety blank scene? There are so many of those at this point that people have stopped asking that question.
It is true. All the games still prompt you in the beginning.
Yeah.
That, like, hey, this game has disturbing content.
The answer is that it's the whole game. I could come up with a list of like 8 different things that it could be. Who knows what it will be? I suspect there will be a number of different moments that people will call out as their favorite moments, in the same way that Modern Warfare, people called out the nuke and the aftermath, where you crawl out of the helicopter, or they called out the AC-130 or Crew Expendable or All Gillied Up. There were a bunch of
There's
those,
some
and I
great
feel very
mentions.
confident that we have a bunch of those.
My favorite part of New Call of Duty is when you turn it off and throw it in the trash.
So I finished this campaign, and the problem that, like, whenever they try and do these weighty moments, they're contrasted against the same kind of bombastic Call of Duty style gameplay that's so familiar to us. So it's like the mission that I want to get into in question is about, are you guys familiar with the Highway of Death? During the first Desert Storm in Kuwait, the United States basically firebombed a highway of fleeing civilians and military personnel in order to cut them off from and I think it was also the British military and French military were involved as well, and some of that imagery has become some of the most iconic in like modern war. Even if you're not familiar with the real history, you would know it just from those pictures.
Yeah, those pictures.
And it's incredibly gruesome, and to this day, like, there is constant investigation and about whether or not we committed actual wartime atrocities, which we did.
No, there's not. Ellen is the George
war
Bush's friend.
Yeah.
There's not any accountability.
And they feature this mission in the game, but they retcon the history in order to portray that the Russians did it, which they didn't.
Which, as far as the Middle East goes, I know this is hard to believe, the Russians weren't actually involved.
No, so one of the things that's very funny about the game is that it is a kind of a remake of the Modern Warfare stories, but since 2007, it feels odd to have Russians as your primary sort of like enemies still, to a point that it's like, I think that they, as a nation, pretty upset about the content of the game. I don't know if it was fully released there or edited in some way.
Yeah.
But this particular mission is very gross, considering like people that will play it could be led to believe that
Well, I heard that the Russians Steam review bombed it.
Yes, they did. The game has like
Because of this.
Good
yeah,
for them.
Yeah, I think even on Metacritic as well, it has like a 2
Everybody's trying to
point
capture the nostalgia of having that. This is my favorite lines from. It's actually from Harmontown. He goes, "It's like the '80s was easy. It was like when the bad guys were just other white people with a backwards alphabet."
So the game still has like a lot of you teaming up with Middle Eastern freedom fighters that are welcoming you with it. They're like, "Oh, fucking America's here to help," you know, like the Russian, you know. So like it's like in that mission.
Is there a mission afterwards where you give them guns, and then when they ask you to build a school, you tell them to go fuck themselves and leave and abandon their economy, and their entire country collapses into...
Like, literally, the characters recounted, they're just like, yeah, back in... They're not specific enough, but they're clearly using it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this is one of those, like, we're trying to avoid politics. Like, there's flat-out scenes in the game where characters will be like, this isn't about religion or politics at all. It's a territory war, because that's, like, the safest thing.
Spoiler, territory, it's about politics.
Yeah. And characters are literally just like, yeah, like the things that the Russians did is just so awful. Thank God you're here to save us.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
not
like-
about politics.
Yeah.
I just want to govern this specific land right here.
Yeah. The game also features a lot of use of chemical weapons and white phosphorus and
Yeah.
things like that are...
Apparently, they still have a highway of death in this universe, but no Geneva Convention.
The single-player campaign is just completely at odds with its competitive multiplayer, where white phosphorus is a kill streak reward, and like it's
still kind of a kill streak reward in real life.
But that's kind of all I wanted to say about that. It's maybe just because this game is fresh in my mind. I'm not trying to get too distracted from everything we're doing, but it just made me realize that like No Russian was the talk of the town in 2009, and nobody really is talking about this. And maybe this is because Call of Duty doesn't have the same cultural impact that it used to, or the same reach. But like,
take that, Call of Duty. You're no longer culturally relevant.
yeah, burn.
Do you think like shock factor is just like hit or miss? you know?
That as well. I mean, Call of Duty has been
Absolutely,
doing
yeah.
shock factor since this mission, but like for the most part, they try and narratively. I mean, because Black Ops got so weird and sci-fi that it wasn't connected to our actual real-world history enough to be.
Black Ops got so
impactful,
Titanfall looked cool.
Yeah.
That's what happened
Oh,
there.
that Advanced Warfare, yeah, chased that too, and Infinite. But like, I don't know. It's all I'm gonna say about that.
Moving on.
Activision social critique score.
Yeah, just not a lot of nuance.
Modern Warfare
in that.
2. It's crazy how the Russians abandoned the Turks.
Not a lot of nuance in this game.
Though they have that map again with the big mansion that everyone loves.
I do.
Yeah, with the windows.
Is Nuketown back again? Up next is our CSGO episode, which was our very first guest spot as well, Mr. Chris Nudeboom. This one was very popular with downloads too. Austin, I think you have
Yes, I
some news
posted
that...
this
Yeah.
article in our Discord.
Can you just
I know
read the
that.
title
Yeah.
of it?
Yeah,
I read
Yeah,
this.
because just the
So this
headline
is an
alone-
article from Vice.
Yeah.
Nearly all, in quotes, Counter-Strike microtransactions are being used for money laundering. Worldwide fraud networks have recently shifted to using CSGO keys to liquidate all their gains. At this point, nearly all key purchases that end up being traded or sold in the marketplace are believed to be fraud-sourced. That's part of the statement. I'm going to read the full statement. Valve patched the game on October 28th, 2019, and the patch notes read as follows. Starting today, CSGO container keys purchased in-game can no longer leave the purchasing account. That is, they cannot be sold or traded on the community market pre-existing CSGO container keys are unaffected, those keys can still be sold on the Steam community market and traded. Why make this change? In the past, most keys we observed were being used by legitimate customers. However, at this point, nearly all keys purchased end up being traded or sold are believed to be fraud sourced. As a result, we have decided that newly purchased keys will not be tradable or marketable. For the vast majority of CSGO users who buy keys to open containers, nothing changes. Keys can still be purchased to open containers in your inventory. They simply can no longer be traded or transacted on the Steam community marketplace. Unfortunately, this change will impact some legitimate users, but combating fraud is something we continue to prioritize across Steam and all our products.
Bless criminals. What a good idea. There was just some kid who played Counter-Strike that was like, like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. When you said that, I was like, nearly all.
Yeah, that's
like,
So, congrats everybody. Valve put a stop to money laundering. Take that, Epic Games Store.
Exactly.
yeah. But more importantly, yeah, hey, boss, Gabe, can you come over here? I just want to check something out real quick. Yeah, it turns out all of our current keys being used for laundering. I don't know how all of it got past us, but just all of them.
Yeah, they're like, what about that one guy? Okay, nearly all.
Not these two guys.
But up next is the Xbox 360, our follow-up to the original Xbox episode that you hosted as well.
Yep.
Still the best console ever made.
Yeah,
What's
I
left
agree.
to say about that?
There's no other consoles.
Yeah, but no, I do, at some point we have to do an Xbox One episode because the story of that is crazy with all their reverse.
That'll be down the road.
I really, really want to know
Really close the book
inside
out.
of like the dev team that decided to use the UI they did and how.
Oh no, me too.
and how
That episode's going to go a lot
not-
into Microsoft itself.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that UI is Windows 10.
That was
that was Windows 8.
Windows
Yeah,
8.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a
Windows
company-wide
8.
mandate.
I just meant more the DRM.
I think
shit.
if I were to plan it out now, and I don't want to commit to anything, but that'll probably be something we'll do around the launch of whatever the Scarlet is.
Yeah, I guess I just find it
That'll put an
fascinating
ending
that
to
like
the chapter of the Xbox One.
the 360 was like the biggest console in the world, and then their successor was forced to spend an entire generation backpedaling and like damage controlling, and that's like fascinating to me.
Yep.
But speaking of hit consoles, our next episode was on the Ouya,
I thought you were gonna say the Wii U.
the second best console ever made. No, I'm kidding. So I did. By the way, before I get into kind of an update at this episode, I did get feedback from some people, including my mom, who knew about the Stradivarius thing.
Yeah.
And apparently we're all just uncultured swine. I don't know.
So I know about the Stradivarius because of Fallout 3.
Really?
Yeah, there's a mission in Fallout 3 where you have to get a Stradivarius out of a vault. Right?
Oh yeah. Culture, learn it.
So the weird thing is, like, okay, inside baseball here. These podcasts are all done in the moment.
Yeah.
I knew what a Stradivarius was kind of too because that's what the Stratocaster is named after.
Really?
Right. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, I don't know. It slipped my mind at the moment.
It slipped mine too. It
Everybody
happens.
fuck off.
Yeah,
Except for Randy's mom.
Can that be reduced to like strat? Is strat like Latin for?
I don't know.
I think I just wanted.
Yeah, for awesome.
I think I just wanted to use that clip because it was hilarious.
It is
Like,
very
yeah.
funny
Because
how
playing
stupid
off of
we
it
are.
is good too. Because I don't know, not to get too like before I get into all the fun stuff. Doing these is hard. Like that's why like going back and like trying to find like corrections and stuff like that. It's when you're speaking so like you're following something, but also talking to other people and for an audience like off the cuff. It's like you really do just tend to blip things out sometimes, which is funny because I'm one of those people that listens to podcasts and get upset if they sometimes like remember something incorrectly and then I do the same thing and it's like kind of hypocritical.
I
Yeah.
don't even fucking remember what you're talking about. I remember the clip being something funny, but
Because they said the controller
Controller
was,
was
gonna be
the
the Stradivarius
yeah.
of controllers,
Yeah.
and then we were like, "What the hell's a Stradivarius?" And I looked it up. I was like, "It's a type of violin."
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I was more. We knew what the cultural like meaning of it was. It
Yeah.
meant it was like the
Through context
the
clues, we would have picked up what they were trying to
Honestly,
say.
like that's one of my favorite moments is when you're just like Stradivarius. I don't know what it means. I don't know.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Starts to look it up.
I do. There are like many times where I'm just like, rather than just try and be presumptuous about something where I'll look stupid later, I'm just gonna look stupid now, like on my terms.
How many solo Fortnite wins does a fucking Stradivarius have? Suck it.
As many as me.
But yeah, like honestly, like when we get into more serious topics, like this one's just about the stupid ass console. When you listen to yourself later, it's like hard to want to be poised in the moment, especially if you're speaking like passionately. You know,
Especially if it's comedy related.
of course. I mean, I just got caught up in my own head doing the Call of Duty one because it's
Yeah.
just like. And I tried to do that without having anything in front of me, and I'm still like tripping over what I'm trying to say and have it not be misinterpreted. By me making a joke about the baby killing mission being tasteful, it's like someone could really, because it's not. I'm just, that was the
Yeah,
comparison I was trying to
someone's
use.
totally going to clip that out and blackmail you. Not me. Somebody, though.
Yeah, that ga-
Let's get
They
to the
designed that game in
let's
such
get
a
to
way-
the meat of the update
yes.
about the Ouya.
Sorry, back to the subject at hand here. I believe we may have failed to mention it in the actual
That
dedicated.
explanation was the Stradivarius of useless explanations.
Call back. So I don't think we mentioned this in the actual dedicated episode, but it was brought up later. In a later one where, Austin, you discovered that our ex-CEO of Ouya, Julie Ehrman, is now working at Playboy as their head of media, something we all found so
of
hilarious that it even became kind of the inspiration for the special that we're doing. That was kind of like, we need to do a Where Are They Now
Yeah.
sort of thing. So according to Variety.com, her job will, quote, include establishing new content and monetization partnerships as well as developing virtual and augmented reality properties
For Playboy.
for Playboy.
It's called
Yes.
Stop Being Classy, 100 Pages of Boobs. That's how you make money, Playboy.
Also, did not realize that between Ouya and Playboy, she went to work for Lionsgate for a while as well. Meanwhile,
Boob physics?
in VR. On May 21st, 2019, months after we released our episode, Razer, who acquired all of Ouya's assets, put out a statement announcing that all online accounts and services would be discontinued the next month on June 25th. They further explained that after this, most apps will be completely unusable on the platform as many rely on the user accounts to work. The company also suggested that players may, quote, be able to transfer purchases to other storefront platforms like Google Play or Apple if the publishers and developers agree to it.
So no more playing your Ouya games,
Yeah.
folks.
So kind of the last nail in the coffin for the little micro console that couldn't, I guess.
Damn, dude. I'm really sad about
Really
that.
glad that I didn't end up buying one in the end, though. Pretty much would have just been a paperweight by now to any of you
So
collectors
telling
out
me
there.
My Ouya collection is about to go out, man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If any of you see one of these in the wild, don't spend your money. It ain't worth it. I like Jeff Gerstmann's tweet about this. He just said, "Good night, sweet prince." Up next was No Man's Sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not a lot to update here. They continue to make their audience happy. They have
Yeah, game's
What's-
better than ever.
better than ever. They have a VR version now.
Yeah, I think
whip
they,
up the consumer.
there was an announcement. There was an announcement where they are renaming the game. Isn't it No Man's Sky Beyond? Like, that's not a new game, but is that an update
That's
or
an
just
update.
Okay,
Because No Man's Sky Next is the name of the game now.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Which I
Beyond.
think we
Beyond is
covered.
after next.
They're
Yeah.
making a sequel.
And now
to be a whole
Kojima
new
made a game so that
controversy.
no other game can ever be considered boring ever again. So No Man's Sky is even more safe.
We did it first. We already made our game tedious and frustrating. So yeah, what was the last time you guys checked in with that game? Is anybody?
Right after we recorded that episode.
okay.
I played it right after that big update.
Next.
The update that
I played it after
clearly
Next,
marketed
too.
itself to me, and like wanted me to play it. But yeah,
What'd you think?
I actually liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't play very long.
It's a cool game.
I didn't even get off my planet, but
I played it for about 2 hours a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago or so after the update. Whenever that last big update was, I installed it just out of like nostalgia of wanting to fly in first person because it's a gorgeous fucking game, especially on my big ass TV with the sound and
Nice,
everything
yeah.
up. It's just a little boring for me still. I think if I would have jumped into it now, I mean, overall, I had like 50 hours in the game. I think if I would do that now, I would probably play it maybe even longer, but marginally longer. But I got my money's worth. I think it's fun. If you've never played it, it's definitely worth whatever it is right now, $30 or something.
I just got the gun that like is like the Minecraft gun
Yeah.
that lets you like actually destroy the terrain and
Well, they all
harvest it.
do that. Yeah, you could just, you have to get like upgrades.
Well,
for it.
that I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But like, there was just so many missions. I mean, I honestly loved running away from the security forces.
Yeah.
Like, I loved like the fact that like some robot was chasing me and like I had to get in my ship and run away from it.
It's
like,
a little clunky still, and like the the motion blur. I don't know if you can turn it off. It's like not fun.
A lot of games do that.
Well, the frame rate of my computer is just trash.
That
But
game
we were
also
talking-
has frame
I'm pretty
rate
sure I have a
issues.
Bitcoin miner on my
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah, I think it's that
Just the
Ableton.
frame rate issues on everything. So
Side note: I was playing Overwatch the other day. I was getting 20 frames a second, and I was like,
Whoa.
"What the hell's going on? Don't leave Photoshop open when you're playing video games." Hot tip for those out there,
yeah.
because it eats up your fucking RAM like nobody's business.
well, I wish my issue was that simple.
Yeah. Also, don't get a Bitcoin mining virus or whatever.
Up next was this our first two-parter?
Yes.
Wow, like our first
Yeah.
official. This was our one on Super Columbine Massacre RPG.
Yeah, deserve it of a two-parter.
The only noteworthy thing that has happened since we recorded this episode was that they announced a Switch port. I'm kidding, they didn't. That will never happen. It never happened, it never will. As far as I know, this game will still remain a file to be passed
only-
around forever.
I don't want to say that.
Oh,
I was just going to say the only notable thing that's happened is that school shootings are still happening.
Yeah.
I think I wrote that in
at an
the
alarming rate.
Yeah.
Just like No Man's Sky, school shootings are more popular than ever. So.
Yeah. Moving on. Austin, tell me about IGN plagiarism. What's Philippe stealing or up to these days?
Well, after we recorded that episode, I believe that was the episode that went up right after he got out of the hospital.
Oh yes. Oh man.
So it was around
we made you host one like the day
beginning of March, April. 1 month later, after we released that episode, Dipshit finally came out and released a video called "My Apology."
Part 2.
No,
I thought his apology was in the episode,
it was that was him fighting it. And
but
then
he still called it my apology.
Yeah, but he called this one "My Apology" as well.
Man, he didn't
This
even.
time-
He's
He said
he's so unoriginal that he's stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm sorry for taking away that guy's prize money. I'll give part of it back to him."
So
Is that a Blizzard joke?
Yeah, that was a half-hearted apology.
Okay.
April 19th, 2019, he released an apology, this time admitting to everything. Apologizing to every outlet that he stole content from, and apologizing to everybody at IGN
Holy
for
shit.
initially dragging them through the mud.
But-
Obviously,
himself through the mud
obviously,
there.
a lot of people out there were like, "Okay, cool, dude. You should have admitted it at first. This isn't okay. Still, fuck you."
Because he's culturally irrelevant now, so it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It doesn't have the same
So
impact.
2 days later, he released another video called "My Apology," in which he.
Were they monetized?
That's a good question. I think so.
Just have ad blocker on.
I have ad blocker on. This time he released a video because he said a lot of people were asking him why he did it. So he explained why he did it.
Oh,
And apparently,
capitalism?
Yeah.
apparently he is a very, very good video editor. Okay, don't question his video editing skills. He's very good at that.
Is that his word?
That's his word.
He's saying it
But-
about himself. All right.
But he's
a very good pole vaulter.
He's not a great writer.
Yeah.
So he used to lean on other people who he trusted for his own words. Then when he got the job at IGN, he
Doing what? What was that job?
a writer.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
He realized that he was in over his head and used other people's words in order to prop himself up. But that was when he was younger and stupider.
Younger by a couple months.
Yeah.
Definitely just as stupid.
It turns out if you get fired and your world gets destroyed due to controversy, you tend to shape up a little bit, I guess, is the lesson we've learned here.
Sometimes. Or that or he started Patreon.
And he's made videos since he's still making videos. They still get views because people are dumb, but not that many views, so I guess it's all good. He still compared himself to a cancer patient in the end of the day.
Ugh.
So that's the end of that. He's never going to get another job that's not working for himself ever again, thank God.
Yep. Oh man.
Maybe he'll go to a hospital and be like, "I'm not really a doctor," and then he's just doing surgery the next fucking day.
I'm not a very good doctor, but then it's our ESRB trilogy.
Yeah, then we went multi-parter crazy.
Yeah, we did. I guess, this is more of a Saga 5-pack, technically, if you count
Yeah.
the other two that you did, yeah. Not too much to update here, although I think the games Splatterhouse and Phantasmagoria probably should have also received a shout-out during the course of that full story that I was covering. A couple corrections, though. I don't remember if it was here or in the Sega episodes that you hosted, Chris, where I confused the Mega Drive with the Master System?
Yeah.
The Mega Drive is the Genesis in Japan, similar to the Famicom consoles versus the entertainment consoles thing here.
Yeah, they
Well,
just
they-
had a different name.
Yeah, the Master System was the predecessor to the Mega Drive, or the equivalent to the like NES or home
Yeah.
systems of that era. It's not a huge deal. It's just like Sega's early history is still kind of cloudy to me with terms sometimes. I could still pick them out in a lineup, though. I may have even made a similar mistake with the Atari consoles in a different episode as well. The 2600, 5200, 7800. Yeah, console names were apparently, I guess, dumb even prior to the Xbox One. But, a lot of my history sort of starts with the NES. Second correction, and this one is way easier and more definitive. Lethal Enforcers, that on-rail FMV shooter with the
Yeah.
bright blue plastic light gun. Apparently I was wrong before, and that it did indeed make its way to a Nintendo platform as well, and not just the Genesis post-arcade, except this version on the SNES also had its featured blood removed, just like the Mortal Kombat port. Which I don't know, I thought was interesting, and I apologize for that not coming up in the research originally. So whatever, my bad on that one. But something I would say a little more, I guess, relevant to now is the two-parter you did on the
Brown versus the Entertainment Merchants Association.
yeah.
Also known as the violent video game debate in
Yes.
the Supreme Court.
Which now video games became under scrutiny again post
I was going to say,
the shootings this year.
failed human being pretending to be a leader, Donald Trump, once again blamed video
Yeah.
games
Yeah.
for
And I
violence
said,
recently.
I will take credit. I said
It
at
would
the end
happen
of the
again.
episode that it would happen again.
Did I say no?
And no, I don't think you guys
Okay, I don't think
disagreed
I-
with me. Spoiler alert, it happened again.
Yeah.
There were horrific shootings in El Paso and Dayton, Texas.
Yeah, which led to the delay
in
of our
August,
Hatred
which
episode.
is why we delayed our Hatred episode. When those happened, our good old Donnie Boy came out and gave a speech where he said, "We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy for the troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence." Nothing much came of it except... You want to get into the Walmart thing? Yeah.
Do you guys remember this? So I guess Walmart took that stupid ass quote to heart, and they decided to pull down all of their advertising on more violent games, or just like M-rated titles. But at the same time, proceeding to do that, they still continued to sell actual guns, which is what they were being attacked for.
Yeah.
So so a lot of people came at Walmart once it was revealed how easy it is to acquire weapons, and then they were like, "We hear you," and then they like pulled down advertising for Red Dead or whatever, and they're like, "Fix the problem." So, fucking yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, it was questioned that other major store outlets were going to do the same, but I don't think
Yeah.
they actually followed through.
No, I don't think
Like,
that
I don't think Best Buy or
People
Target
just kinda-
or GameStop did this.
Yo,
We're on the same
spoil-
initiative.
Stop
like-
can't afford to lose anything.
Yeah, Donald Trump did that to distract you guys from the gun
NRA.
debate, and it worked.
Yeah.
And now nobody cares about either one again.
It's true.
So-
People moved on.
Yeah.
I think the Walmart thing got revealed from an employee who took a
Yes.
picture. Who was who
There were employees out there who were refusing to do
Yes,
it because
yeah.
it was like a company-wide thing.
They work in operations, which is a job
Yeah.
I used to do with stocking, and they, and like having to do the displays. And someone was just like, "Hey, put all the guns on the shelf, but pull down all these ads." Which
Yeah.
I wonder if game publishers were like, "Hey, what the fuck?" Like, I mean, I'm sure they came out and said so, but I didn't know if there was like a broken of
Yeah, I
like
feel that would
contract or
sort
deal
of,
of some kind.
entice some lawsuits.
Yeah. So I don't really know what came out of this, or if they're continuing to still do it. As far as I know, like, because this was a nationwide thing for Walmart, and I don't like.
Well,
we,
some sort
we
of
have a Walmart
nerd
in our
video game
town.
developer tries to boss you around, you just shoot him.
But yeah, the fight for this still rages on.
Yep.
Yeah. Up next was our Jeff Gerstmann episode, which is the beginning of our fun titles. That was Def All You, Austin, I think, for this one, first time.
Yeah, I'm so smart and witty.
Which got us a bit of, because a special thanks also, I would say, to the Giant Bomb community for the support here, too. That episode did very well.
Yes, I posted it
Through
on
Reddit,
I've tried to post a couple episodes on Reddit.
They have shitty policies against
They got a lot of
sharing,
shitty policies
things
against
you-
self-promotion. The Giant Bomb subreddit was the one where I had any success because people were very welcoming in that. So if there's anybody out
Positive
there,
word of mouth, yeah.
if there's anybody out there from the Giant Bomb community who is listening, whether or not it's from that post, thank you
Yeah.
for not deleting the fucking post.
Yeah. and enjoying your Photoshop
Yes.
as well. As far as an update goes, Jeff is obviously still doing his thing with their website, going strong. I think isn't Extra Life is going on right now, which they always participate
Yes.
in. Recently, I think he had a kid as well. And
Yep.
honestly, I hope I got the whole timeline for this topic right. It is very hard to 100% confirm something so personal without being able to just talk to them specifically, which is why, of course, days after we put this episode out, that awesome son of a bitch bastard Danny O'Dwyer released a podcast episode of No Clip about Jeff and the whole situation with him on it.
Yes.
So, like, it isn't fair. I did listen to it, though, and as far as I know, I think I got the
Once
facts
again-
right, at least. So
Once
that's-
again, shout out
Son
to
of
No
a
Clip.
bitch.
You're better than us.
I know.
Congrats, dude.
Oh, you got a video camera and you spend all your money and time on it. I'm just kidding.
But you're awesome.
Yes. Then we have our Halo 2-parter, which I think was this planned to be one, and then we just got so into talking about Halo? Or
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how much there is to say about here. Halo Infinite still ain't out. Apparently their creative director left.
That's going well. Probably.
I'm sure Halo Infinite will come out and won't break my heart like 5 did. Yeah, there's obviously no updates about Halo 1.
They're building an actual Halo. That's why it's taking so long.
Okay. Cool.
So then we have our live episode, which, man, looking back on that now, that was kind of crazy that we did that.
Yep.
That was awesome.
It was. I know. I want
Yeah.
to do it
Good,
again.
good, proud of you, Randall. That was really well put together. I don't
really
know, Austin,
appreciate
how
that.
much you had to do with it.
Quite a bit.
Okay, I apologize. I thought he took credit for all
No,
of it. He said
he put
he said
together
you were
the
a piece of shit when they were talking
put
about.
together the actual episode, though.
I got all the
well
pictures,
laid out.
too.
Yeah.
It was good. That was a lot of fun, and that was really
Yeah, I
good.
know a lot of your work on that was post because you did the
Yes,
archiving the
the
video,
video.
for
Yeah.
people to watch. But
Check
that was
that out
yeah, that
on
was
YouTube,
fun.
right?
Yep.
Or on
It
our
is.
website. You know where to find us.
Yep. Hotbuttoncast.com.
And I think the only kind of you could call updates was what seems like an endless.
Yeah.
Amount.
Randy did 25 fucking, or how long was your list? There was like 50 games in that thing.
Yeah.
And turns out that the one that I took
Yes.
was the one that had all the updates. So here we go. So Fallout 76 update.
Oh, I played that recently.
There's
Because I heard all the bad news.
Did you buy your? Are you in that subscription?
Oh, no,
You
I'm not paying for the
get your own?
subscription. My frame rate doesn't even work in that game.
What if your frame rate didn't work, but you had your own server?
So I said that episode was recorded in
That's a good question.
April.
Is that April?
I believe it was in April
Okay.
of 2019. And I said, as of that recording, that the canvas bags still hadn't reached the people who requested them. Finally, on June 14th, reports started coming in that people got their canvas bags finally.
Yeah.
And they were thoroughly whelmed with them. But that is not the end. Something that I want to add, this isn't really an update to the special edition itself, but two things. Number one, Internet Historian, great YouTube channel, released a Fall of 76 video right around the time that we did this as well. It's a great video. I urge you to go check it out if you're interested in the Fallout 76's like whole fucked up release.
Which that episode's out of date now as well.
He mentioned a thing where they had special edition rum called Nuka Rum, which was a dark rum that was supposed to come in a glass bottle that looked like Nuka-Cola.
Yeah.
People pre-ordered it for something like $80 or $90 a bottle.
Jesus, fuck.
The bottle came, and it was a normal, generic-looking glass alcohol bottle inside of a plastic shell that looked like a Nuka-Cola bottle, with the stopper having a bottle cap on top. However, the plastic shells were not sealed at all, so when you would go to pour the alcohol, sometimes it wouldn't pour out of the hole and instead would pour into the shell, and then you had to crack the shell open to get to your rum. And it also apparently wasn't very good rum.
Like
Yeah.
Dreg style.
Yeah.
Licking the condensation.
Yeah. Apparently it was very poorly made, and now they're making Doom vodka, so we'll see how that goes.
Tastes like blood.
So wait, were the moldy helmets thing? Was that
I'm getting to that.
okay? Oh, I'm sorry.
We'll get there. Yeah,
Just
so
a bunch of sirens going.
He said it.
in September of 2019, the reports came out
Pretty
that
recent, actually.
not only was there problems with the wearable power armor helmet in the special edition, but GameStop themselves sold a collectible Fallout 76 helmet. They made approximately 20,000 units of them, and 32 were sold. They were then later recalled.
32.
They were recalled by the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, or CPSC, for having dangerous levels of mold inside the wearable helmets.
Wait, so what causes mold here? Like, it's plastic.
It's maybe the adhesive they maybe use,
Yeah,
the foam and stuff?
something. Obviously, some sort of organic component inside.
Which has a red painted finish with white colored exterior tubing around the sides.
Do they crust it in milk?
Well, they dip every helmet in milk, duh. I mean, that's what you do with every
The
helmet.
helmet's
Well, that's what
presented
Ghost in the
with,
Shell look like.
with mold on the fabric insert inside the helmet at a level that poses a risk of respiratory
fabric.
infection, especially for people with compromised immune systems, damaged lungs, or allergies to a certain type of mold.
Right here, baby.
I was saying, people who play video games are notorious for having compromised
Oh, yeah.
immune systems.
I think allergies are the genetic push towards video games.
Yes. But those 3 Wii updates about mold,
Yeah.
bad rum, and
Here's hoping the fucking Doom helmet won't be like have salmonella in it or something.
Yeah.
But I think also you mentioned the other day that at some point we will probably cover just all of 76.
yeah, probably.
But
Might as well.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Okay.
it's got to. Do you want to be on for that one, Jason?
Oh, yes.
I know you
because-
probably have a lot to say.
But the
I'm
thing
sure.
is, like, I have a friend who told me to buy 76, and I bought it for $60.
So naturally, you're not friends anymore.
Well,
And then I have a friend who may or may not be sitting at this room who told me it was kind of cool, so I bought it on Black Friday for like $20.
oh my god! So I'm constantly trying to justify the amount of money I spent on a game I never play.
Yeah.
So as soon as
Same.
like I think the bad news about it sort of reached a peak over the past few weeks, and to the
With
point
the
where I was like, I
subscription
need to just play it because like something's going on right now.
played
It's the most
The,
insider info I have on the game, to be
Played
fair.
the Battle
so-
Royale mode of it.
The thing
That was
is,
cool.
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
besides the frame rate of my computer, that's an issue with everything I play. It's actually really fun. Every single person I met was really cool. They shared their emotes back with me. You know, I was like, "Yo, hi emote," and they were like, "Confused emote."
Sounds like real human interaction.
But you're
Yeah.
confused why you bought the game.
I was
They
a
didn't
developer.
shoot me in the face.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the only people I would say like left playing the game have to be like dedicated enough to not just.
yeah. I mean, like, I played Ark and I played Rust, and as far as those survival games go, if you like Fallout, like, that's probably the best case scenario, but, like, obviously some of the bugs that have been lingering in this game are, like, unexcusable.
At least it capitalizes on the whole idea of being in a giant wasteland by yourself with not much to do. Like,
Yeah, so you're telling me it was a realism, not just a shitty game.
yeah, no, that was all planned.
Yeah, but $13 a month, like, who gets that number? 13? Who?
Because Netflix is the same price. I think that's actually how they.
What is that?
chose
Is that the inflation going from 12 to 13?
I believe so.
How much
yeah.
is Netflix? Okay, make it that much.
Because like 13's a new number for me, right? I don't like to hear 13.
Forget Game
No,
Pass.
it
You can
comes,
play Outer
it comes
Worlds
after 12. It's always been there.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, speaking of Bethesda, Austin, I believe you did the episode
Bethesda,
on there.
Is that in Cyro Dills?
Shut up!
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's a
You're never
town
gonna
in
notice that.
Maryland.
They had their war with WB
Yeah.
regarding their mobile game based off of Westworld, which I don't even know if it's still on.
Westworld?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Okay.
The game
Oh,
shut down officially.
Yeah, the game.
Yeah.
They made a VR game out of it. Apparently
What?
it was better.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
That's all the updates I have.
Okay. Well, I know their Twitter
Now,
account.
this is a Westworld VR game where I can have sex with a robot prostitute. I'm not playing it.
There's a lot of VR games for that.
Account is
Who's
shut
that
down
guy that
now.
played Hannibal that's in Westworld? Who's that guy? That's that actor?
Oh, Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins Simulator. I would pay for that.
Okay.
All right.
So
Yeah, their Twitter account is shut down.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Chris, also, I think you brought up the attention of a second plagiarism case involving them as well. Was that Elder Scrolls Adventure taking down cries of plagiarism?
Oh, yeah. That's Elder Scrolls Blades. Elder Scrolls Blades had plagiarism in it.
I wanted to love
Whoops.
that game.
Yeah,
I
me
know.
too.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't love it.
What broke you more, that or All Out? I guess was that. I mean, you're a big ESO guy, so I guess Blades was like.
No, yeah, Blades was, oh my god, the grind. I mean, it's literally insulting when they fucking charge you for the amount of time it costs to open a chest, not to earn a chest, but
Yeah,
to open it.
That's dirty.
So basically, you would have a timer of 3 seconds, and if you wanted to make that 0 seconds, you would
Oh
have to
my
pay
God.
money. I don't know. There's just a certain, like I could, I could look
It's
past a lot of
tough.
things in this
It's
capitalist
tough.
world, but you can't make
man.
it that obvious to me.
Yeah, at least hide it a little better.
Too obvious.
Yeah.
The worst was when the game first came out. There would be a button that would be like open the chest, and then a button would then appear saying, "Okay, we're waiting to open the chest," and the button to say "Spend my money to open it now" would be right where the open the chest button was before.
Are you
And they
fucking
had
kidding
server
me?
issues, so a lot of times you would hit the button. And then you would hit the button again because it wouldn't register, and then it would register both clicks and spend your money without you knowing.
Dude,
Oh, that's
I remember
nefarious.
when PayPal, I had this whole conspiracy where like PayPal would load the certain amount of time so that you would have to hit the apply for PayPal credit button.
Yeah.
Like, it would
Oh,
load
wow.
just in the right way so that like as soon as you would hit checkout, it would actually like
Oh, for sure.
populate.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a programmer who's proud of that.
Yeah.
We fucking got him. Then we have our Sega two-parter. Is that the first one you hosted?
Yeah,
Sully?
it is. It was my first
Yeah.
episode. I was very happy with that.
Yes.
That was a good episode.
That
I
one
was
was really
always,
interesting.
you guys always did it. You made it look so much fun. Researching it was not fun. It was a
But
horrible
doing
day.
it is
No,
fun.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well,
Researching
'cause
it and writing
I learned
it.
a shit ton on that episode too, because as I said before, like Sega's a bit of a black market, so when you got into like actually the history of like where they came from and how they got into games was like super interesting to me.
Yeah, nothing's changed. Sega might as well be owned by like a fucking pretzel company now. Like they,
No,
still
they
doing
put
their
put
thing.
out the Genesis Mini.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
I
actually
own it
kinda
because
cool.
I'm a dummy. Remember on the end of that podcast where I said I just pre-ordered it because I'm an idiot? The pre-order came in.
Yeah.
Still an idiot. That's your update.
Yeah, no corrections other than maybe I screwed up the Mega Drive Master System thing again. I
Yeah.
don't remember. Austin, tell me about Nintendo versus Let's Players.
YouTube's still fucked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That program's ended. Nintendo's out of it. YouTube is now
Their policies are still
demonetizing
shitty, man.
people, LGBT people. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
That's not video game related, so we probably won't do an episode about it. But I showed Randy a video.
Yes.
Go look up a YouTube channel named Nerd City, who did a video about the words specifically that YouTube demonetizes, and a lot of them are like homosexual, lesbian, gay,
they
LGBT.
made like a bot that would just name a video and then post it and see if it got flagged or
Yeah,
not. So there's like specific keywords that it would basically
They said
see if whether or
if you
not they
take
were
the words
appropriate.
gay, lesbian, homosexual, LGBT, things like that, and replace all of them with the word happy in any of the titles that they tested, it was instantly went from not monetized to monetized.
Yeah. It's pretty
So-
gross because and meanwhile YouTube is still celebrating the fact that they are a
They also regularly release video montages on Pride Day every year.
because
Fuck that.
Yeah.
And like, there's so much right wing YouTube, but that's just
Yeah.
like,
oh yeah, that
crop-
doesn't get fucking flagged.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
At
and
least the
Hey,
most
everybody.
popular YouTuber is pretty safe and
I
sound.
will say,
right?
I will say, so I will say their explanation, although disgusting, was actually very fascinating, and it's about how YouTube, or I guess its parent company Google, they claim that they don't have bots that do it, but they have people that are doing it. But the problem is all of the people that they hire to monitor whether or not content is appropriate are basically divisions out in countries that have completely different policies and cultural standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
there's
when it comes to things like gay rights. So it's like, so the problem is if you have a whole bunch of people in, I don't want to name any country specifically, but like if it's a human being behind a computer and they're just like, well, flag this, it mentions homosexuality, which is a federal offense in my country, so
Yeah.
it's not appropriate. But
I
it's
don't know whether
affecting
is it
us
last
here.
week tonight
Like,
or Daily
it's-
Show or there's some
it's
political
disgusting. It
show
sucks.
that does a whole thing on Facebook's censorship system and
Yes.
how like it works. Is that
It's
Daily
horrible,
Show or
yeah.
last
I
week
think
tonight?
it was Daily Show.
Yeah, they do a thing on Facebook censorship and how it's like you have to go through pictures to see if it's like a bad picture of like
Some
a
people have
kid or
PTSD
sexual
and,
weird
yeah.
shit and like and they outsource it to other people and I'm sure there's nothing different about that.
Because the other thing too is that like they don't let those content creators even know, and a lot of them
No.
can't afford to make a living.
Their roles are kept secret so that people can't game the system, but in doing so, they often hurt a lot of the people that are making all the content that they're making money
There was an
off of.
example of a kid in that video who just made historical like videos about real world conflicts and wars, and like his stuff got flagged because their policies on violence has gotten very I've noticed this in videos lately. I'm sorry if this is like a big old tangent, but a lot of content creators I follow that base things around video games are starting to get demonetized if they portray any of the violence in those games. Even channels, like one of the biggest channels blowing up right now is that Corridor Crew channel that like focuses on movie special effects.
Corridor Digital. They've been around for a long time.
They've been around for a while, but
Yeah.
they've blown up a lot recently with their like stunt and effects like
Yeah.
team. And they have had to edit their videos in such a way like, and that's like, even comedy people that we like are noticing that they're starting to get bleeped more. Like it's weird. Like YouTube was like this free thing for that kind of works, and now
Yeah.
like Nicky Jakey put out his first video in a little while, and it's great. The one on horror games, and I was like, they bleep him saying "fuck" because like he used to say that on his channel, and not like it's
He
like
probably
it's,
believed himself saying
he I'm sure he did, but like
Because that is his job.
of course, yeah, and it's a lot of work,
There's-
and they deserve to be.
There's this guy I follow.
Paid for
He's a
it, but-
commentary channel. His name's Cody Co. He used to be on Vine. But he does the best thing, which is that he's had to start bleeping his videos, and he also had to start like using generic music because his videos got flagged a lot for. He does like, oh, let's watch TikTok videos, and TikTok videos have
Yeah.
licensed music in them.
Oh god, that
and
Lindsay Ellis thing you told me is insane. I hope she wins that lawsuit.
He just does shitty covers of all the songs he does, and then puts that over it.
That's
instead.
pretty good.
It's just him like humming the song, but he doesn't know the words, so he's just like. "Na, na, 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 na."
Because I
It's
watch
hilarious.
a lot of YouTube stuff that analyze like like film and games, and like I'm like, why is this in black and white? And I'm like, oh, like it's YouTube's getting aggressive
Yes.
with that stuff.
But
We gotta move on.
Yeah.
Because we could do a whole fucking 10-hour
Yeah.
conversation about
YouTube shitty.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
I know so many people that are moving from YouTube to Patreon and like saying like, my fucking content isn't like available.
It's like, where are they going to go? That's what. Yeah, I've seen that too, where people are like, we released 2 versions of our video. Here's our Patreon one if you actually want to see us discuss this, like in a way
Yeah.
that's not, and then here's the one that, because it's like you think Twitch is the only thing and all all the shit with mixers going on, but it's not like there's even a secondary YouTube.
I know.
They're going to go to Daily Motion. Like maybe fucking Pornhub will actually get into just having like their
Oh
own
my God,
YouTube
I
channel,
know, right?
like they just start their own YouTube, and it's just.
That would make sense at
Yeah.
this point.
So our next one was the one on Final Fantasy XIV's Housing Crisis. That was a really fun one. Chelsea Romano was our guest.
Oh yeah.
And,
Chelsea the capitalist. Call out. Fuck
Yeah. But without her really playing the game much anymore, or as being as involved in its community, I can only assume that their housing situation continues to be maintained well enough, especially since the bigger updates. I do see
will
less
say-
and less people bitching about it.
I will say that in ESO, I visited someone's house recently. They had a hot
like-
tub that I had to enter through the top floor and jumping down into it. And
Oh my
that's not really, I
God.
don't know if it's relevant or not, but it was a great time.
I did see that recently they added a raid themed around Nier Automata that people all seem to love.
Yeah.
Final
Oh
Fantasy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
it's
saw a
pretty cool.
Kotaku article saying like Final Fantasy crossover with Nier Automata
Yeah,
is
it's
the
pretty
best
wild.
thing ever, and I have no idea anything beyond that.
Oh, that's, they had their
I've
mobile
never
game that had a
played any of
crossover
them.
with Ariana Grande.
Wait, Final Fantasy has a mobile game?
Yeah.
Oh, don't get into that. I'll
It's a
just say there's a
gotcha
lot
game,
more crossovers than just
shit.
Ariana Grande.
I don't have money, so yeah.
Yeah.
So then we did our, I think we referenced this earlier, this was our E3 2019 special, the one
Yeah.
that we kind of like ad-libbed and recorded and mixed and edited and released in less than 24 hours.
It's a lot of fun.
Which is quite an achievement when you really
Gang,
think
gang.
about it there, yeah.
Gang, gang.
Gang, gang. I can only assume that all our predictions about any of the new games released since then have been 100% accurate.
I didn't listen to it, but I'm usually right. So
Yeah. Do you remember when we were excited for Youngblood?
Uh-huh.
I do remember that.
We can move on.
Okay. I was going to say, they did have since then, they had their Game Critic Awards for that year. And then maybe at some point we'll do an episode on the ESA, considering the sucky shit that they've been involved with
Oh,
lately.
yeah, I guess the only update
They've
to
dropped
that
the
is
ball
that
on quite a few.
The ESA leaked the names, emails, and addresses of every journalist that attended the E3 we did the podcast about.
Yeah.
But we can do a whole episode about that.
Yeah. Awesome. Tell me about Skyrim. Skyrim mods.
There's still nothing changed.
Thompson Tank Engine still fucking.
You can still pay for mods
OP.
on the Bethesda net launcher and nobody does it, and you can still download free mods on Steam. So
What was that? Piss simulator?
yeah, turned all the water into piss.
I never drink out of the fucking river. Like, how you don't need to drink water in that game. So piss is great visually.
Sorry, not to go back to it, but the Final Fantasy VII Remake was the winner of Best of Show at E3.
Okay.
Yeah. Beating Borderlands 3, Doom Eternal, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, The Outer Worlds, and Watch Dogs Legion.
Damn.
Dumb.
Only one of those games is out. No,
Show
two
up,
of them. Sorry.
fanboys. I guarantee half those people excited about Final Fantasy VII never fucking played it.
I haven't played it and I'm not excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess not too much to say about Skyrim, unless we talk about the state of Bethesda and whenever Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 comes
I
out.
heard that in VR that you can get to the top of the mountain in the first mission without having to climb the mountain and face those goddamn frost trolls. That's some news.
Then we got deep into Destiny.
Yeah.
That was another two-parter. That was another. I don't know if that was intended to be a two-parter, and then we just started talking
No,
about
it was supposed to
Destiny.
be one
It's
part.
supposed to be one.
We do that a
That
lot.
was one of those episodes. This happens a lot where we're just like, this one's going to be a short one, guys, and then we go for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
fight for the light and the darkness.
Yeah.
is
Obviously-
How Shadowkeep did you get it?
Destiny updates. Obviously, since then we mentioned it briefly in the episode, but they did leave their contractual obligations with
Yes,
Activision.
and since then they were completely removed from BattleNet to Steam, which
and now Destiny
yeah.
Vanilla is free to play, which
Well,
is
Yes,
I
pretty cool.
did have
yeah.
a lot of fun transferring my thing. I love like really monotonous file
so the
transfers.
only thing
Like,
that gets-
I don't actually have fun with the game. I have fun like linking my accounts to things because it's a lot of different pages.
Yeah.
it is insane when you think because the thing that caught me was a couple days ago I was installing a game on Steam and I have multiple hard drives and I was like, how's this hard drive full? And then because I was like, oh, Destiny 2's BattleNet version is installed, a game that I cannot launch, nor can I find the uninstall button because they pulled it off the thing completely.
You missed the patch notes a month earlier.
Yeah.
my bro.
Yes, I just had to go in and get rid of it because I was like, this is an unusable 80-something gigs on my computer.
Yeah.
Wait, there wasn't even an uninstall button. You had to go through a control panel.
Because the storefront's gone.
You probably
so
got some lingering fucking.
I
ghosts
I
in your
probably
Yeah,
did.
some random folder. It's like 10 like images of like a fucking like a vector of the Destiny logo. I didn't buy Shadowkeep. I played it. The person I game share with purchased it. Super disappointed. Haven't finished
Really?
it. I'm just disappointed
That
with
was
the fact
that was a big update
It's
supposedly
$40
too.
though.
Yeah.
supposedly
That's what
big
it is.
update. It doesn't seem nearly as big as the last
Substantial as it
update.
should
Gotta buy a new fucking game every time I want to play
I
that
don't.
game.
Exactly.
The base one's free, Jason. What more do you want?
Yeah, they added like the Forsaken was the one they added huge single player experience. They added 2 new entire maps. They added a big campaign that took me several hours to beat.
Yeah.
I beat the story of this in like 2 days, and
Would
then
you
like
beat the darkness?
but there's a lot of
Wait, this is the one where you revisit old places too from the
Oh,
first
the
one,
moon.
right?
They
Yeah, you
brought
go to
back the moon. And it's cool, but
Yeah.
it's
Is there a wizard there?
It's classic Bungie. They reused the same old assets they've always used. Obviously, it saves some time and effort,
Moon Gex.
but there's a lot of cool. There's a lot of cool updates to like lore and shit like that. But other than that, highly disappointing, and I won't.
Yeah.
I probably won't play it. It's just.
I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
That says something that you didn't
I
know.
logged back on wanting to play it and saw the $40 price tag and I was like,
Yeah.
Now, you know
Until
what's
Black Friday.
horseshit?
They increased the level cap.
I almost
Yeah.
bought it, but here's the thing. Nobody we know plays Destiny on PC anymore, but like Chris plays it on Xbox. And I was like, oh, I can transfer my character now. I'll play it on Xbox. Except I bought Forsaken on PC. So if I want to play anything, I have to have Forsaken as well.
It's
which meant that
cross-save, it's not cross-buy.
Yes, in order for me to play Shadowkeep on Xbox, I not only had to buy the $40 Shadowkeep, but I also had to buy the $30 Forsaken that I already paid for.
Yeah, Shadowkeep's more expensive, and there's less to do. I don't know.
Great.
It's just not a fan.
Yeah.
Destiny's disappointing now.
Yeah. How's Sony's service holding up?
No hacks.
Yeah, our next episode was the notorious PSN hack of 2011.
Yep.
Nice. They're doing all right with no hacks.
At least for now, yeah.
Adobe, on the other hand, just
They
lost
did,
a lot.
I think
A lot of fucking companies.
Sony. I also got the message on PlayStation recently that they're removing all of their Facebook integration.
Yep.
Yeah, which is interesting. That's for the
Shout
best.
out to NordVPN, the company that advertises all over YouTube about using examples like this to be like, pay for our service for security's sake, and then they got hacked.
Yeah.
So shout out to NordVPN if you're using it.
I know a lot
maybe
of
look into
YouTubers
that.
that-
Yeah.
Build your own fucking network. Like that's just got to go back to that.
IP scramblers.
Yep.
All right, so next one was a big venture. This one, this took a lot of preparation and planning and fiddling with equipment, but that was our commentary, the first one you were on. That was
Oh,
fun
yeah.
as shit.
That was a
Seriously
lot of fun.
blast. Yeah.
We gotta do it
did
again.
the Final Fantasy one.
Yes, I know. I
Final
was I
Fantasy.
absolutely want to do this
wanna do
again.
Tomb
With a bunch
Raider.
of other game movies.
Tomb Raider.
Which one? There's 3.
The Angelina Jolie ones.
Yeah.
And also Doom with The Rock.
Oh, yeah,
I wanna
Doom
do
we should
that.
definitely do.
Because
Yeah.
I low key like that fucking movie.
You like that? You like the first person sequence when at the end?
I love all of it.
It's corny. It's
They,
cool.
they literally say that's a big fucking gun,
the
right?
thing
When
is,
they
like,
show the BFG.
Doom 3.
And then he looks at the camera and goes, eh? See, I said it.
Come on, nerds.
Fucking Doom 3 was my shit. Like I wasn't
I'm a defender of Doom 3.
I wasn't a PC gamer, so I didn't play Doom 1 or 2. But
Yeah.
Doom 3 was everything to me.
Yeah.
And so
cool
like when
game.
they
It is a
when
cool
they-
game,
when
yeah.
the Pinky
And it had
Demon
co-op.
came out, like I don't care what you do in that scene. Like the fact that there was a Pinky Demon was all I cared about. Like,
Except for the fact that you couldn't use the. I get the concept behind not being able to use a flashlight and a rifle at the same time.
duct tape
but a flashlight and a pistol, like, it's just, should be able to use them at the same time.
You all, I mean, that game broke new ground in that it had a one-handed protagonist.
Yeah.
But I know definitely the reason why I want to do Spirits Within so bad is because it literally broke the company. Like that's what led us to Square Enix. But yeah, then we did our kind of a 2-part episode of basically being like, what the fuck happened with what we just watched? But we absolutely, because some new info came out about that fan website that very politely reached out to us, and
Yes.
so we got to give a shout out to them as well for
Shout
being so
out
kind.
to,
yeah.
I believe. Hold on, give me 1 second.
No,
I
but
had it up on Twitter.
They're like
Yes.
unearthing this shit still.
At
about it.
SMB Movie on Twitter, the Super
Okay.
Mario Brothers Movie Archive. I believe it's also smbmovie.com is their website.
Yeah, they have
Yes,
an archive
yeah.
too.
That's where they keep finding
That's
this extra footage and
That's
shit,
where we
right?
got that
The
fucking
rap.
awesome rap from. We got it from them.
Yeah.
They recently. Are you going to go into it?
No.
Okay.
By all means.
They recently discovered.
reins.
We mentioned that they bought an eBay lot from a former producer, and in
Yes.
it was a videotape. Apparently, since our recording of that episode, that videotape has been watched and archived, and it is an extended rough cut of the Super Mario Brothers movie. They say, in the first installment of our video series, Exploring the Cut, we finally see the Scapelli plumbers and hear Mario's trademark line, "Nobody touches my tools."
Yeah.
And they have posted clips.
I wonder if the strippers are in that one.
They have posted clips of it on YouTube. You can go watch them. I highly recommend
Yes.
checking them out. They're funny. SMBmovie.com.
Yes.
Give them a,
Yeah, they're
give them
really
a couple
cool.
thank yous.
Thanks
They're
for
very
reaching
cool.
out to us, and
Thank you
thanks
for reaching out to us
helping
if you're
us out.
listening. And also, they apparently have the rights to release this movie. I don't know how.
Wow,
But they are
really?
planning on releasing
Maybe
a
Locomotion's not
region-free Blu-ray cut of this rough cut.
Oh man.
So
damn.
maybe we'll
We'll watch
revisit
that.
it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
watch that one.
Yeah.
Another commentary.
But again, shout out to them.
Yes.
They're very cool.
Then it was everyone's favorite Star Wars Battlefront 2, and they're
Yeah, updates.
they're
Star
toe dipping
Wars
into loot
couldn't-
boxes.
Star Wars is as dumb and lame as ever.
Hey.
It's reached its pinnacle of fucking dumbness.
no,
Wait,
not the pinnacle.
Okay, right.
But it's I still agree with it.
I
there
agree
like
with
a-
Randy. Solo was great.
No!
Sorry, go on.
God.
Randy did say that several times. You're right.
No, I did not. It's still better than the prequels, I guess.
We have a couple listeners who are my former college roommates. I was with them last night, and we were talking about how shitty Solo was. So,
yeah,
shout out to them.
What happened with the lighting in that movie? It's so dark. Like, like there's a Red Letter review where at one point one of the hosts says the exact same thing that I was thinking while I was watching that movie, where I thought something was wrong with the projector because I saw that movie with my dad, and I'm like squinting to see what's going on in this daytime scene in the desert. I was like, what is happening?
Objection,
Like, I'm like-
Your Honor. The train scene was pretty
the
cool.
train scene was kind of cool. I'm like looking behind me, being like, what the fuck happened with it?
Our only update.
Yes,
to
was
the
an award.
Battlefront 2 won an award,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
The Guinness World Record for most downvoted Reddit comment. We mentioned
Yeah, Chris I think
mentioned
yeah.
that this was the most downvoted Reddit comment in history. That is now officially in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most downvoted Reddit comment.
Do you think they sent them a plaque
I
or
was
something?
wondering that too.
And then it's like they just threw it in the trash. Sons of bitches.
In the dice thing, it's like Game of the Year, Battlefield 2, and then right next to it, it says most downvoted Reddit comment in history.
You think people are still playing that game?
Yeah, probably.
No way. Maybe.
Well, keep an eye out for Fallen Order, I guess. See.
Yep.
Next is the Nintendo Play Space Station.
Yeah.
Another two-parter.
Surprisingly, we caught that episode at a good time because we got the guy that found it and restored it and everything. So no updates since then. They're still trucking that thing around to conventions.
Yes, they bring it around to trade shows a lot.
Yeah,
It pops up on my Twitter feed every now and then.
Yeah.
Which is pretty.
But that's about the only update on that. PlayStation's still a cool console.
Yeah.
And a jam of a song. Then this was our first microtransactions episode, which I want to do.
Our only
one so far.
But one will be coming.
Yeah, soon. I got a really good one for my
Yeah,
next.
me too.
I don't know if you guys, if there's much about your stories. I actually have one little update about mine. I don't know if people remember, I covered Australia's weird policy around portraying drugs in their games, or in their media, I guess I should say, because it affects film and stuff as well. Turns out they still hate weed. As of September 12th, or I guess the 13th, PC Gamer put out an article where Life is Strange 2 will be removed from all their digital storefronts in Australia for its portrayal of the ganja.
Oh no, devil's lettuce, man. What are they doing?
Yeah, I mean, considering the nature of those, like, it's, I'm sure...
Wait, Gone Home 2?
No, Life is Strange 2. Another coming-of-age adventure game.
Yeah.
But, like, I can only imagine the way that, like, that's not a game that features action or power-ups of any kind. It's probably just characters sitting around smoking weed and talking.
Yeah.
And, like, because weed was in the first Life is Strange, but I guess the player character didn't have the option to smoke it. Another character did, and it was portrayed fine and accurately, but I guess now it's maybe...
That seems like the kind of game that would treat it right, though. That would
They always do. They
It's
have.
not like you're boosting heroin for health or
No,
whatever.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's just. Maybe I should have looked up the scene before getting into it, but I can almost guarantee that it was completely innocuous. But add that one to the ban list.
Something
again,
I forgot
for
to
their
ask you in
deadly,
that microtransactions is PUBG. I think I might have actually. Is PUBG banned?
Yeah, they said
No, well,
really? Why?
Yeah, PUBG.
It's a different item, remember?
Yeah, I was like, I think it was banned.
No,
and
that was DayZ.
No, but they might have done
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
you're
thing where
right.
painkillers became vitamins, but
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, because I was gonna say if you're gonna be like you smoke weed for health, and then not ban opiates.
Wait. So what's happened with Left 4 Dead? That always had painkillers as you.
I don't know.
I think that faced a similar problem.
What happens is
Really?
nobody
Yeah.
plays that game anymore.
I heard Overwatch's 2 fucking story mode is like Left 4 Dead. It's
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That means they have painkillers, is that right?
Tracer's just popping opiates.
As if they Winston, painkillers over here.
That's a good Winston impression.
Thanks, Dan. I've been practicing.
It says that there is no Australian server, and the game is technically unplayable unless you connect to
Okay,
American servers.
that makes sense then.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into the meat of the fucking updates for the back half.
Yeah, this. I think this is probably our biggest one.
Yeah. Surprise, the episode we made all about the guy who can't stay out of controversy couldn't stay out of controversy after we released an episode about him.
Yes. So this was a two-parter as well. We had Mel Greer as a guest, and I think we planned it just so that it would come out the day of Borderlands 3's release.
Yep.
But yeah, there's some big updates for this one.
Okay. So that episode came out, like you said, in Borderlands release.
It was a Friday the 13th
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
At the end of the month, September 29th, 2019, former Duke Nukem composer sued Gearbox and Randy Pitchford because his music was used in the remake of Duke Nukem 3D. Which they did not have the rights to use because he made an agreement with Apogee in the 90s for limited use with $1 royalty on every copy sold, and Gearbox did not get any permission from him, nor did they pay him any royalties. That lawsuit is still ongoing, so maybe there'll be more updates in the future.
Okay.
We also mentioned how Troy Baker was not returning in Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
That has since been clarified. Here's Troy Baker's quote. He says, "I can't do a non-union gig, and without getting too deep into the weeds of that, we had a long conversation about this. We always knew going into it that this was going to be a thing. They were going to take these characters and put them from Tales of the Borderlands series from Telltale into Borderlands proper. I've been waiting for this call. They were like, 'Do you want to do this?' And I said, 'Yes.' they never, because they would never move from that position. No, it's half a quote, I don't care. I'm not mad. It's invariably a completely different character, but it still stings. Now, there are more updates on this. However, in the coming weeks, I'm not sure if it'll be right after this one or not.
Yeah, it'll be soon.
We are doing an episode on the voice actor strike and the whole unionization of voice acting,
It will be after this one.
which plays a huge part. This plays a huge
Yeah.
part in that.
We will get deeper into
This
that.
is one of the few times where that has come up since all that was reached. So we will get deeper into it later in that episode. But just know that that has been resolved, and Troy Baker said it was a union problem. And finally,
He's a big proponent in that.
a huge chunk of our
Fighting
second part was the lawsuit between Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, and former Gearbox lawyer Wade Callender and former friend of Randy Pitchford.
Yes.
It was with him and like withholding funds.
Yeah,
from,
yeah. And also
Using them to get
porn.
That was the
swollen
one
by
thing.
guns.
It was like
and-
the whole Randy Pitchford episode. As I was editing it, I was like, "All right, whatever. This guy's weird." Like,
And then you
blah,
got
blah,
to
blah.
some-
And then
yeah.
I got to that part. I was like, that overshadows everything about his character. Like, if that turns out to be what it is, then he's guilty.
So-
Well, we'll get.
Yeah.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
That lawsuit has since been dropped.
Oh, great.
And here's the statement. Upon review of all of the evidence in this case, it was the opinion of counsel that the evidence exonerated Randy Pitchford from the allegations against him. All misunderstandings between the parties have been corrected. Apologies were exchanged. Because the parties are mutually bound by confidentiality, no additional statements will be forthcoming.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we probably will never know the full story of this, but at one point, to quote Jeff from Giant Bomb, he talked about how this was like they have a very long history of being friends and business partners, and what this seemed like was a very personal sort of like battle amongst friends that it became public. And like in the sense of like, we can't ever say definitively of whether or not everything that happened was true or not true, but it definitely seemed like a way to backstab a friend by using their image. So,
That's all the updates on the Gearbox thing for now.
Yeah.
Some of those lawsuits
or
are still
by I should
ongoing.
say destroying their image rather than using it. No, I have one other little update about Borderlands 3. Where Greg Miller posted that thing about how once the game was released, it became the highest searched term on Pornhub.
Oh, yeah. That happens with every game, though.
Yeah, but this one was big.
Nah.
People
You
really
think people
wanna
search
see that
Overwatch 2 on Pornhub or still just
Yes,
Overwatch?
probably. They want those updated skin renders.
Yeah.
But Randy Pitcher got what he
And
wanted.
those
Remember,
updated eyeballs.
remember his stupid thing about Battleborn? Now,
Yeah.
now he could have tweeted out for real.
Yeah. Except he's probably not allowed to legally tweet anymore.
That's
Probably for the best.
Yeah.
I like Battleborn porn a lot more.
So then we have our delayed episode.
Yep.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot to say about Hatred. The developers have
You mean meanness?
they've yet to make another game. I still never did buy that boxed copy. And technically, those political views of those devs have never. We may not ever really fully know what was going on with them, but. I did find it very funny when Chris shared that Postal 4 was apparently
that was me.
announced. Was that you? Okay. I couldn't
Yeah, I
remember.
watched a stream of that from Robaz.
Does it look like ass?
It was played like ass. This Robaz, the streamer, just killed people indiscriminately, and
Yeah.
this is about the only point of comedy, if you can call it that.
But then our Halloween series.
Hot Ween.
Yeah, this was the
Halloween.
beginning of Halloween.
Circle R.
Yeah.
I remember those days 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, all the way back when. The first one was Polybius. I thought that was a pretty rad one to start with. We just covered this, but thinking that we wouldn't have a lot to say about these newer episodes, the following one was on the Madden curse. And
Yeah,
despite the episode only being a month old, I believe we already have an update.
It was a little annoying at the time, but shout out to anybody who hit us up
We got a lot.
as individuals about this, because like if I didn't know this news beforehand, I fucking knew it a day later, because everybody's like, yo, you did that Madden episode, Patrick Mahomes got injured, what are you gonna do? And I was like, we got a recap coming up, we'll talk about it then. Okay, so literally not even 1 week after we released this, we released it well into the football season.
Yeah.
But the Thursday following the Friday we released this Madden Curse episode, Chiefs quarterback and Madden cover athlete for 2020, Patrick Mahomes, dislocated his knee. Now, he is expected to be back soon, although as of recording this, which is
November
3rd.
Yes.
Third.
It is Football Sunday. Recording this, he is still not playing yet, but he is expected to be back soon. But that didn't stop me from looking that up before we recorded this earlier today and finding more articles than will fit on one page of Google about people saying the curse is back.
It strikes again,
The
y'all.
curse strikes again.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Just after I called it out and said that you ain't shit, curse, we proved you
Dude,
wrong.
we did it.
They fucking flipped it and proved it right back. And then Madden went and updated the cover, so it has Ray Lewis on it again, I think.
Wait, really?
Because he's a murderer.
Yeah.
So EA is very like prone to this curse. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Now, EA is prone to a lot of
Yeah.
wait, do they have like a curse employee? Like, do
There
they
is somebody. Yeah, there
Curse
is
department?
somebody who does curses at
There's a
EA.
guy who just sits in his office
It's
all
like a
day
shaman.
with a football. He sits in there with a football and an Xbox and just
with a Ouija board?
just does voodoo all day. And he took the day off, and then this guy dislocated his knee.
Then we did probably the most bizarre thing I think we've covered so far, which the only thing I have here is that it would be funny if when we got to this episode that all we did was play the music again like we did in the clip, where it's like, up next is...
All right, that was in my head for 3 days.
Yeah, I was I knew we'd be doing that
my
too.
psyche.
But yeah, that was Hong Kong 97.
Yep.
Again, no relation to, I can't say no
To
relation.
Don, to Don Hong
imperialism.
Kong, the guy. Yeah.
No relation.
Yeah. And then our horror series culminated with Resident Evil. So major correction for this episode for me.
It really didn't have auto aim to begin with, right? Please tell me that it didn't
No,
have
it did not have
auto-aim.
auto aim. Or no, sorry, aim assist. No, it was auto aim. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Fuck.
Yeah, no correction there. But I was literally angry at myself after I heard it even before release on the mix and caught it instantly. But the original RE was developed by a team of 80 people, not 40 like I said. I think I just slipped up there when discussing the game's script, which was 40 pages long, and then repeated the same number twice because I've apparently lost my ability to read properly since we started doing this thing.
Yeah, since we started.
So what are the
Totally.
positions of those 40 people you missed?
Yeah.
And now I will name them individually. Also, one little fun fact for my favorite franchise here is that I learned the other day while watching a video on the Stop Skeletons from Fighting channel, where I got a bit of my info on Sweet Home. On the first commercial for Resident Evil 1, the music in the background was a remix of the Sweet Home soundtrack, which I thought was cool. I just kind of missed that. I think in the same video, he also mentions how Resi isn't the only horror game to have a different name here, because I brought up Fatal Frame in that episode as well, which is known as Project Zero in Japan.
No, it's known as Zero in Japan.
Right.
Project Zero in Europe and Fatal Frame in the U.S.
Jeez.
It has 3 separate names.
Not to brag, but I think we got the better
Fatal
end
Frame
of
is
the
definitely
deal.
the
Fatal
best
Frame is a
name,
way
yeah.
cooler name.
Yeah.
What do they call cameras? Zeros?
But that's all for that one. And then the next one just came out a couple days ago. And
Yes.
that was our Tales from EVE Online.
Just a little update for that. Our RSS feed broke
yeah.
this afternoon. We just
Yeah.
found out that we haven't had the episode uploaded for 3 days.
I don't know why I
So
got
that,
it. Yeah.
that was that's a little.
Sorry
update.
to everyone who was
Yeah,
confused.
sorry
by
if
the-
you were confused by that.
Yeah,
We
whatever.
updated on Twitter.
Technology.
It's working now. I fixed it right before we started this.
Yeah.
We're all good. Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
No updates about Eve, right?
No, it's still it's still running. I played it a little bit. It's hard, and I turned it off, and uninstalled it.
Then it was our Corrupted Blood. That was our 52nd episode on World of Warcraft. with
Technically, it's our
guest,
49th episode.
Guest Dan Bittner.
Yeah.
Well, I counted the live one and E3 in there.
Live one counts.
Yeah.
E3 doesn't. Neither does the commentary.
Whatever.
For numbering purposes, we went over this.
We never missed
up!
it. Other than the hatred delay, we never missed a
Stop
week.
and let it happen.
This episode was cool because not only did we have fun doing the episode, but then we had like a whole night of just kind of like dedicated WoW sort of act. Like we after the episode, we ended up watching like the Stop Dots video on Leroy Jenkins and the South Park episode, the Make
Yeah.
Love Not Warcraft one. So that was kind of fun. Just to bask in it for a little while.
Yeah, my only
Some WoW
update about
nostalgia.
this is that we talked about how World of Warcraft Classic is releasing stuff in phases. And BlizzCon just happened, and
Yes.
they announced that Phase 2 will be coming out right around the same time that this will be releasing, right around our 1-year anniversary.
Have this on in the background.
So if you extrapolate that out, the Zul'Gurub raid, where Hakar came from, is planned for Phase 4, which is estimated to be released sometime between June or July of 2020. So maybe
How
there will
are
be
they
more.
getting away with just re-releasing the same thing
know.
they've already done?
This
I
is,
know, who
this
would
is
play
really
that?
unprecedented. Like,
It is absurd amounts of just absolute conjuring up the spirit of nostalgia for profit.
They probably knew about this
I-
a decade ago.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
It's not like.
I'm playing WoW Classic.
Well, it's kind
I
of
never
like how,
played
you
the
know,
original.
like My Chemical Romance is a fucking
Oh yeah,
reunited Rage
that is
Against
the
Machine.
most
It's like-
unanimous. I've seen my Facebook feed since I had a Facebook. Like people aren't that divided. Like on like it's just amazing. What the fuck?
I saw no dad bod shaming Gerard.
He looks like Haley Joel
Article.
Osment now, which is unfortunate because for a while we looked the same. Like
All right,
we have the same like facial structure.
that's it.
But that's it. Thank you for. That's what you're gonna end it on, huh?
I don't want to talk about my Chemical Romance anymore.
Let's dive a little further into genetics.
But thank you for letting us get into all of those things again.
Wait, let's do some future stuff. Let's do some future crime. What are we gonna come
Future
in?
crime.
Let's predict some updates to episodes we haven't even recorded yet. It's crazy.
Yeah, before we do a correction on this one. But that was our getting through all these topics. We have now an entire library for stuff to people to go back
know.
and listen to and revisit, and there will be many more to come. Jason,
Hopefully we get
thank
all,
you,
all new listeners. Welcome.
yeah.
I mean, don't listen to this first.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, it's too late, I guess. But
So awesome. We
What
gotta
are you doing?
we gotta do our plugs, but we also need to promote this guy
Yeah.
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like we can do this. We can thank everybody involved. We
Yes,
can thank,
no,
I mean,
absolutely.
really, it's just
Let's
us.
thank
Except for, yeah. I was gonna say, like, we can thank all these other people.
screwdrivers.
Yeah.
But we gotta thank our guests and our listeners and fans and people who
Yes.
respond and tweet and share our shit. And
Thank you to everybody listening.
Yeah.
For those of you that know me and listen to this podcast and, somehow get through all of our mumbling and stumbling.
Oh, I do that.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting to you, dude. Don't worry. Thanks for listening, and thanks for talking to me about it. This podcast is a lot of work, and hearing from people how much they enjoy it really does
I mean, yeah.
help that work
Yeah.
go by a little faster. Hold on. Thanks to you two.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it without you.
Yay.
And
I mean, you can probably do it without me, but
And
maybe
most
not
of all,
Randy.
thanks to this guy right
Not
here,
true.
Jason. We don't shout him up. We don't shout him out enough.
we
but
don't.
Yeah, they let me out of the cage they put me in to have this first episode. And I'm
Just
really
because
happy.
you're here.
I'm gonna start tagging you first. And,
really happy to be
Yeah.
out of the crate finally.
Just because you're here, we have to say it to your face, or we'll feel bad. Let's just start a new tradition of thanking Jason.
We're not letting you out of the
Domenico,
dog
our
cage
sound
though with the
guy.
mic up
this
to the
show,
front.
this show, more so than the two of you, would not be what it is without Jason. So
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
So appreciate the editing.
I'm convinced-
Fucking hire me. Go to my website, learn my rates.
I'm convinced that this is the best edited podcast.
Oh yeah, when you pointed that out, it's
Online.
like
Yeah.
we get like we probably over dedicate the amount of.
But it's fine. I want to
All
keep
it
that
proves
quality.
is that
Yeah.
content rules, editing is far behind. Because the last podcast on the left, they make $500,000 a month, and they fucking have the worst
They are
cuts
amazing.
ever.
though. Yeah.
What,
Well, that's. I always feel like a big dickhead when we go back and forth on our Discord. I'm like, hey Jason, at exactly like 23 minutes and
Yo.
49 seconds, there's like this tiny
No,
little bit.
that's literally like what we need. Like that's what the world needs.
Sure. And what's your website? Does it just
it's just some
jasondomenico.com? Okay. Don't worry. We don't have to announce it this time, but next time I'll shout it out. Just
Yeah.
like, you know.
Wait, do you not know the name of your fucking website?
It's like J Domenico, Wix, whatever. Just go to my Twitter. I don't know.
All right, what's your Twitter?
It's like Mr. Eus, but it's supposed to be mysterious because I was a fucking edgelord.
You know you can change that.
Change your handle?
You can change your ad
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you want.
Yeah, but you don't lose all your followers.
This isn't
No.
PS3, dog.
I have so many followers.
You can literally change your ad on your display name whatever you want.
DJ Umelu.
Now we're telling. Now he's got too much power.
It is MRIOUS2.
He's gonna change it. I wouldn't even worry about it. Yeah. Well,
I'm sure you can find it through our Twitter.
don't worry about
Yeah.
it this time. Next time we'll do all the specifics.
Yeah.
We'll tell him
of
that
the
now
show.
while he's here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Shut up, Randy.
You know he edits it, right?
I do have something I do want to I want to end on though. So Austin, you shared in our Discord the SEO insights thing according to Squarespace about
Yeah.
some of the like search terms, I guess,
Yeah.
in relation to us. And I am going to read these verbatim. But I guess I'm going to save the best one for last.
Wait, hold on. Let's do the plugs first.
Yeah, let me do
Obviously-
plugs
Oh,
first.
damn it. Okay.
If this is your first time listening, thank you. Way to pick a doozy of an episode to start with, I guess.
Yeah, this shouldn't be your first episode.
Yeah,
it's
but
not-
go back and listen to the rest of them. We have a year's worth of great content. You can find all of that content on our website, hotbuttoncast.com. That website has links to all of our social feeds, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at HotButtonCast if you want to follow us for updates. And then you can hear updates like, hey, why didn't
all
my
the stuff.
why
Yeah.
did my iTunes update? And it's like, well, because I just tweeted out that our fucking RSS feed broke. And then
Be in the know.
and then if you want to subscribe to those feeds that don't update when they break, you can follow us on any podcast service. We have our episodes on YouTube as well as iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and pretty much anywhere else that pulls from iTunes RSS feeds. So
Title.
Yeah.
Pentagon.
Stitcher. The Pentagon. You're right. Those 4 guys that have a radio tower in the woods.
yeah.
All right, are you guys ready for these search terms? Because this is
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
is
play
all.
us out.
Yeah, this is what defines Hot Button right here. Are these words?
According to Squarespace's SEO.
All right,
Yeah.
So we got Engram,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, from Destiny, I guess.
wow.
Yes, the weird, mysterious psychiatry-related
Is it
image
Engram or
from
Engram?
Scientology.
No.
Engram?
It's Endgrum because we put that in the title as like a little pun, and then we
Yes.
got everybody that was misspelling the word Engram.
Then we got Jeff Gersman Instagram, which they're looking for his Instagram account, I guess, after maybe hearing us talk about him.
Yeah.
Volume Cafe, where we hosted our live episode.
Yep.
Now defunct and closed.
Yeah. FF14 Housing Crisis, so that's direct to the point there.
Yeah.
Then Super Mario 36.
The reason that
I'm very excited
Please
for.
explain.
I don't
that
know.
number.
I don't know why people are searching Super Mario 36, but that comes up because that was the 36th episode of our
Episode?
podcast.
Okay.
Can we
Yeah.
please
All right, then what about
release-
this next one, Hot Mario Brothers?
Hot Button Mario Brothers makes sense.
Okay, so we didn't want to tell you about it, but we have a porn site.
HotMarioBrothersCast.com.
Then
Jesus.
Jeff is on here again with Jeff Gersman GameSpot, which that's where he works.
Yep.
That makes sense. Then Google Engram again. So maybe they just couldn't figure out what.
Those are all the
And then Graham was.
Scientologists that were trying to
Okay.
figure out.
Then Button Hot, which
Yeah, all right.
yeah.
Sure.
14 housing again. We got 2 for the Final Fantasy housing one. Now this last one, I can't see. Like, there's a little bit of rhyme and reason to the other terms you would say so far, right? Yeah. Gratuitous cleavage.
Okay, let's think about this one. All right, so
I have thought about it.
Hold
it
on.
makes no sense.
hold on. There was definitely an episode where there was gratuitous cleavage. It said.
What?
No, I know. Wait, hold on.
Oh, was that our special editions one?
No.
Oh, no, there was.
Hold on, I gotta
Not that I remember.
Oh my god! All right, everyone's job is listen. All right, you get the first fucking 10 episodes. You get the next 10, and we're gonna listen.
I don't think
I
that's
know I heard-
written anywhere.
I
in our,
know that's been said. That's weird.
We've also said come a lot.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Let's just end it there.